Victories were hard to come by for the Houston Aeros at the start of the season, but now they find losing hard to swallow. Last week, the Aeros delivered 3 wins in 6 nights, including a huge come-from-behind shootout win against the Chicago Wolves. Tonight, it's a sweetheart of a matchup as the Aeros turn it loose on the Moose. Next on Prime Sports. Live from the Summit in Houston, Texas, Prime Sports and the Houston Aeros present International Hockey League action. Tonight, the Aeros take on the Minnesota Moose. Very pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Summit. The Aeros taking on the Moose, and they're trying to make it 3 wins in a row. And I bring in my broadcast partner, Mike Greenlay. Greener, the Aeros came off a terrific road trip going 3-1. They're playing some outstanding hockey, and just while things are going well, they're going to get better with the return of Paul DiPietro tonight.
Oh, yeah, and just in the nick of time. 5 minutes left in warm-up. He stepped on the ice. He hasn't played in a little while, but he's coming back to this lineup. He's going to add a lot of offense. The 25 games he played for the Aeros, he had 16 goals, 16 assists.
And you talk about a shot in the arm for the Aeros offense, maybe a shot in the hamstring, because Sylvain Turgeon back in.
Certainly, and that's going to help even more to have Turgeon back in the lineup. He's missed a few games, but boy, he adds a lot of offense with 17 goals, 26 assists. It's going to be good because he has great playmaking ability, and wow, a heck of a shot.
And it has shown that when the offense is playing well, the defense seems to have a better time of it, and when they're playing well, the netminders are standing on their lips for Houston, and Troy Gamble, I think, pretty much stood on every body part this last week.
He has. He's played excellent. IHL goaltender of the week last week, 3-1-0, 2 goals against average, and a 94 save percentage. He has really played well this second half of the year. Since December 28th, he is 3-2-1 with a 93 save percentage. He's really picked up his game.
And that takes us to our Oshman's game plan. It's brought to you by Oshman Supersports USA. The Aeros getting a lot of guys back. They've got to take advantage of this.
Well, you get Turgeon and DiPietro back. That'll help. But Lamb, Freer, and Gamble have really played well since as of late, and these guys have to keep playing well. Second, don't underestimate the Minnesota Moose. Moran and Smith, number 1 and 2 on their team in scoring, they can really open a game up. And third, stay out of the sin bin. Discipline is going to be a real big factor in this game. The Aeros can't find themselves in trouble in that category.
All right, it'll be the 5th straight start for Troy Gamble. We'll see how the Aeros do, but first, we throw it to the Prime Sports Clubhouse. We'll be right back. Okay. Houston Aeros hockey on Prime Sports is being brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Fly Southwest, the low-fare airline. By your participating Texas Chrysler, Plymouth, Dodge, and Jeep and Eagle dealers. By Columbia HCA Healthcare Corporation, a new commitment to healthcare. Together. By Texaco Clean System 3 gasolines. Add more life to your car. Take it to the star. By High-Low Auto Supply. For the lowest prices every day, what you need is High-Low. And by the Gatorade Company. If you're living life to the fullest, you're gonna get thirsty. That's why you need Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Life's a sport. Drink it up. Good evening and welcome to the Summit. Adam Gord along with Mike Greenlay as we're set for the Aeros and the Minnesota Moose. And let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups. First for the Minnesota Moose, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. The line of Chris Govedera, Sandy Smith, Ken Hodge. Defensively, Gordy Roberts and Alex Godinyak. And in goal, it is Dave Gagnon who comes in at 15, 16, and 2, 3.94 goals against average. Looking at the Aeros Southwest Airlines starting lineup, Mike Maurice, Al Conroy, and Paul DiPietro will start with Mike Hurlbut, Gord Krupke on the points, and making his 5th straight start in goal, it is Troy Gamble. And Gamble, with his 4th straight start, has got his goals against to 4 even, 8-15 and 2 record, 87.9 on the save percentage. And here we go. If you're Paul DiPietro quickly, Greener, the legs got to be a factor for you.
That's what we said the first time he came to the Aeros when he just got in late on that day and he had a goal and assist that day. Maybe he can do the same tonight.
Yes, but it was a little closer this time. That time he made it clearly for warm-ups. He made it to the Aero lineup. 4 minutes or 5 minutes left in warm-ups. Here's a puck in the Minnesota zone. Cleared out at center, and Krupke will swing it into the Minnesota end. Back out of the net, it's Dave Gagnon. He'll leave it for Gordy Roberts, 15-year NHL veteran. Push the puck out at center. Hurlbut trying to turn it back, and it's sliced up over the glass and out of play.
I think that DiPietro's the kind of guy that can pick up the system pretty quick, and Dave Tippett probably had a little sit-down with him before the game to really go quickly over the things that they've been working on.
And Dave Tippett 8-5-2 since taking over for the Houston Aeros, and he's done a terrific job for Houston on the bench. Here is a line change for Houston now with Freer, Arneal, and Townsend. defensively. Krupke and Hurlbut. Off the face-off, Ken Hodge trying to wrestle it away from Freer. And it's tossed ahead as the Moose move it ahead. Govidaris left side, but Hurlbut gathers it back in for Krupke. Swings the puck ahead. It's thrown off the skates of Govidaris. It's cleared out at center, but offsides. Haven't played, well, we've played barely 30 seconds in this first period. A scoreless hockey game. And Gord Krupke, here's a guy that we just continue to be impressed with his defensive play.
And I'd like to say hi to his parents are watching all the way from Tabor, Alberta. Hey, they have great corn up there. I hope
Do they?
Maybe they can send us some down via Gord Krupke.
Are you talking about corn on the cob or
Yes,
like JD?
Corn on the cob.
All right. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Krupke will take some. Thank you. Face-off is in the Aeros zone. Here's our first look at Stefan Morin. And off the draw, Morin wins it. Puck was centered, knocked away, and swept down the ice by Arneal. And Freer's got a breakaway. Here's Freer in the moon. He waits, shoots, score! Mark Freer continues with his torrent scoring pace, and the Aeros get the first goal of the game. It's a 1-0 hockey game.
Mark Freer picks up that one from the center line and goes all the way in, and he gets his 14th goal of the season. You know what? Mark Freer earlier on this year was getting those same chances but couldn't find the mark. Now he's putting those home. No matter where he shoots it, it seems to find a home. And guess who feeds him? It's Arneal off the boards right up the middle, and there goes Mark Freer. He works it in and he finds a hole. Good quick shot, beats Gagnon for the first goal of the game. What a quick start, less than a minute gone in the game, and the Aeros already lead it 1-0, his 14th of the season.
Off the draw, the Aeros turn it around. Jakes, it's knocked away, and now Christian across the line. But it was cleared by Jakes and back out at center. Controlled by Mark LaForge, trying to move it ahead, and we get a whistle. And with a minute gone, the Aeros already leading 1-0.
Mark Freer has 4 goals, 3 assists in his last 7 games. That's 7 points in 7 games, and actually add 1 tonight, make that 5 goals and 3 assists. What a great start. As Serratore, I'm sure, as Frank Serratore, head coach of the Minnesota Moose, is probably saying, where did that come from?
Yeah. Well, the Aeros wanted to get off to a quick start, and they've got it. And here's the line of Lamb, Turgeon, and Kelly Hurd. Off the draw, Laniel wings it into the Minnesota zone. Lamb gathered it in. Lamb trying to turn it down. It's intercepted by Sean Williams. Williams scampered to center down the right side for Chris Miller when it went deep, and back is Sylvain Turgeon. Turgeon in his first game back with the Jets, and he'll turn it up. He's got those Jets to wheel, but no. It's taken back by Laniel. Turgeon at center, tried to fire it ahead. It's knocked away and intercepted and controlled by the Minnesota Moose. Shot out at center, and Laniel takes over. Laniel's pass to Jakes, out at neutral ice, chipped away, and the Aeros, Turgeon making a line change. He came off right away there, and the puck is shot out at center. Now DiPietro chased it down to his own blue line.
Maybe Tippett's got them going short shifts right off the bat to get everybody into the game right away.
Here's a puck along the boards. Maurice trying to blast it up the wall. It's held in by Gudignac. Down the right side, centered. Smith the drive. Gamble stopped it. Rebound, and it's cleared away. That was a sharp shot, and Gamble got a piece of it. Sandy Smith trying to center one. It was jumped on by Conroy, and he will meander it out at center. 2-on-1. Maurice with DiPietro. Here's Maurice in. Centered. DiPietro. Oh, what a stop by Gagnon. He got a glove on it as DiPietro came smoking down the slot, and Gagnon got a glove on it. And the Moose shoot the puck in. Now back is Gamble. Thwarts it to the near corner. The Moose centered. Smith shoots. Glove save Gamble. Puck into the corner. Centered again. But Hodge couldn't get a piece of it. And here come the Houston Aeros. It is Paul DiPietro. Give the puck to Conroy. Conroy right in. Shoots. Stop Gagnon. Oh, behind him. I thought that went in. But the referee says no. Conrad Hatch says no. We'll close the hatch on that. It is not a goal, and it remains 1-0 Houston.
A couple of unbelievable chances here. It looked like a 2-on-0 as Maurice beats DiPietro right in front, and he just can't get it up high enough as he backhands it, and Gagnon, going in a desperation style of save, makes a great save on this one, and once again he gets another chance as DiPietro breaks in, but it looks like Conroy gets the shot, and I don't know.
Oh, no, it never did.
I don't know how Gagnon gets on that one, but he contorts his body in some unbelievable ways to stop that again.
Here's Arneal with a shot, and a blocker save made by Gagnon. Puck is cleared the length of the ice, and Arneal will chase it down. This will be icing as Arneal takes it, and the face-off will be back into the Minnesota zone. Well, I'll tell you, the Moose have had a couple of chances on Troy Gamble, but the Aeros have responded, and they're laying the pucks to Mark Gagnon this in the early going.
Well, I tell you what, Tippett must have told his team to get out there and get on the Minnesota Moose really early, because lately the Moose, when not scoring the first goal, have had a lot of trouble, and the Aeros could have had 3 goals already, but Gagnon's made a couple great saves, but Freer does have the first goal.
Puck is controlled by the Aeros. It's steered down. And Chris Imes along the boards, wrestled in there by Arneal. And here is Graham Townsend. Townsend for Houston, centered the pass. It went through the goal crease. Picked up by Freer left wing boards, but it's intercepted by Chris Jensen. It's out at center for Ivan Korovo. Push the puck into the Aero zone, and O'Connor will gather it in. O'Connor back in his own end, wings the pass to Freer, trying to move it ahead for Townsend. That was knocked away by former Aero Jim Paek. Came over in the deal for Mike Hurlbutt. Freer, the pass for Arneal, busting down the left side, makes the move, looks in front, and then turns it down for Townsend, but that's knocked away. Now the puck is picked up by the Moose and shot into the Aero zone. Jakes goes back, long lead pass came out to Townsend, and here comes Freer. Mark Freer with the only goal in the game for Houston, right side across the line. Freer getting set at the hash mark, centered one, but Christian intercepted it, and here comes Andy Schneider. Schneider across the line, centered. It was knocked away. Williams moving in. Gamble covers up. He holds on, and we take time out. 4 minutes gone by in the first. The Aeros lead it on a Mark Freer goal, and we're back after this. But first, this word from Southwest Airlines. 4 minutes gone by in the opening period. The Aeros lead it 1-0, but I'll tell you what, it could very easily be 3-0 if not for Mark Gagnon. And here is Mark Lamb to take a face-off against longtime NHL veteran Dave Christian. I said Mark Gagnon, excuse me, Dave Gagnon. Here's a puck controlled by Schneider. The shot stopped by Gamble. He will cover up and he will hold on. I've been calling him Mark Gagnon, but it's Dave Gagnon, pardon me.
And a great save by Troy Gamble getting in front of that one. You know, looks like the Moose are getting guys in front right off the bat and trying to let one blast through the crowd and hoping puck has eyes. A good hard slap shot right from the circle, and from a goaltender's point of view, you want to get right where Gamble is, right out on top of that corner crease, and cut down that angle, and he gets in the perfect position and covers that one up.
Off the drive, a shot by LaForge. Gamble stopped that. Into the corner, Dave Christian. He's bumped by Lamb. Puck came behind Schneider, behind the Aero net, waiting. Now over to the far side, trying to chip it over for Sean Williams. Schneider got it back. Andy Schneider getting settled on the left side. Winds, lets a shot go. That ricocheted off the stick of Laniel, and Lamb clears it out at center for Kelly Hurd. Hurd in across the Minnesota line. Hurd barreling in, long shot, stuck aside by Dave Gagnon. Puck in behind the net, Lamb trying to move it in, but Schneider tipped it away, and his pass came out to Sean Williams. Moose shoot it in. Arrows go back to play. It is Gamble out of the net, and Jakes, long pass shoveled in by Kelly Hurd, and Alexander Godinyak goes back to play. Godinyak up the left side. He'll move it up and out at center. Long pass tipped away, intercepted by Hurlbutt, and he fires it into the Minnesota zone. DiPietro chases after it. Gordy Roberts in there, checked by DiPietro. Slivchenko trying to knock it away. Here's the puck in the corner for Gordy Roberts. Bumped by DiPietro again, and Godinyak is there. In behind the net, Godinyak gives to Sandy Smith, and here comes Ken Hodge to center. The pass knocked away. Krupke's got it, trying to blast it ahead, and after it was Slivchenko, but now Ken Hodge. Hodge at center ice, drilled it into the Houston Aero zone. Gamble slowed behind the net, and it's worked away by Hurlbutt. Pass Conroy couldn't handle it. It comes back to the line. It's stopped by Gamble, and then he covered up the rebound and holds on. Troy Gamble, I'll tell you, you talk about a different goaltender from now as opposed to the start of the year. When he gives up these rebounds, they look a little more controlled to either where they're out of scoring harm or he can just cover them up.
And he's doing a great job doing it too. He seems to be really eager to get that puck, and that tenacity is really paying off for him as he gets I guess a toe on this one, and like you said, the rebound is either going to the corner or it's going to an area where he can jump on it, and he does so right there to bring a face-off to his left.
And the Aeros will have Mark Freer out there against Stefan Moran. Sticks down, drop of the puck, and it is controlled by the Aeros. O'Connor winds one to the near side for Arneal, and up ice he will come. His pass to Gord Donnelly. Donnelly through the neutral zone, ripped it into the Minnesota zone. Arneal moving down left side, trying to turn it back to Miles O'Connor. He backhands one deep to the corner. Jim Paek takes Freer off the play, but here's Graham Townsend to the line. Jakes winding, shooting, stop Gagnon. Pinching was O'Connor, gives to Freer. Here's Freer behind the net, centered for Arneal, but he couldn't get a piece of it as Moran was there to knock it away. Freer again behind the net, waiting, trying to move it through Chris Ives. Puck centered, but Townsend couldn't get the shot away. They work along the boards, and Jim Paek is there. Paek will move it up ice. Pass just too far out of the reach of Ivan Corvo. It'll go into the Aeros zone. O'Connor hustles back. If he's there, it's icing. He is there, and that will be an icing call on the Minnesota Moose, and they'll bring the face-off back into the Minnesota zone with 13:46 to go in the first, and a 1-0 Aero hockey game, and a good look at former Aero Jim Paek.
Yeah, Jim Paek was a really, actually was a very important guy on the Houston Aero hockey team, and for other reasons they made a trade to try and get a different player in Mike Hurl, but Jim Paek was a well-liked player on the Houston Aeros, and I'm sure he's just as well-liked on the Minnesota Moose.
Well, the thing about Jim Paek is I think they were hoping to get a little more offense out of him as an offensive defenseman, and I'll tell you what, they got it out of Hurlbut.
They certainly have. He's really added a lot of offense to that already strong blue line for the Houston Aeros, and a good addition.
Face-off controlled by Houston. Right side Jakes into the Minnesota zone. Trying to move it into the corner. He's bumped by Schneider. Taken away by Christian. And lobbed over to Chris Miller. Miller for the Moose. He'll move it to the right side. Puck turned over though. Here's Kelly Hurd into the slot. Fakes the shot. Bumped by Sean Williams. Crowd wanted a penalty, but no. That was a good defensive play by Sean Williams. Andy Schneider pushed the puck to Williams in across the Aero line. Here's Christian trying to slice in on goal, but the Aeros are able to clear it, but not out. Now it's pushed out at neutral ice. Chris Miller for Minnesota turned it over, and Laniel fires it ahead for Lamb. Lamb trying to find a breaking Kelly Hurd, could not do it. 13:10 to go in the first, and a 1-0 hockey game. Laniel in his own zone. He'll lob it into the Minnesota zone. Back to get it is Miller. He will touch, and that is an icing call, and we take time out. 7 minutes gone by in the first period. It's a Mark Freer goal that leads it. We're back after this. Aeros lead at 1-0 with just under 13 minutes to go. Paul DiPietro, I don't think he'll help, will he?
He has really helped this lineup when he was playing here, and he's going to help again. 16 goals, 16 assists when he did play, and he really helps in the dressing room too. The guys really like this guy, and it's going to be a great addition.
Here's a shot. Campbell stopped it, didn't know where the rebound went. It came back in on him. He stopped that. Battle for the puck. It's jumped on by the Minnesota Moose. Sandy Smith lobbed it down in there. To control was Ken Odge, locked up by Hurlbut along the boards. They battle some more. Here's a centering pass. Smith trying to knock one in there from Govidaris, and the Aeros are out at center. DiPietro gives to Maurice and across the line. Maurice centered. It was knocked away by Conroy. Couldn't get it in on goal. Now jumped on by Govidaris. The former Milwaukee Admiral rumps to center ice, hits the line, lost it, and Conroy's in transition. Here's Al Conroy. His pass intercepted and blocked. It's deep in, and Gord Roberts is there, but it is offside on the Houston Aeros, and play whistled down. I'll tell you, one guy that's going to benefit from Paul DiPietro is Mike Maurice. They really would like to see his offensive production jump up a little bit, and perhaps playing with DiPietro, that'll help.
I think it can't do anything but increase with the guys like Conroy and DiPietro. Maurice, a good, hard-working forward who's going to take the body and open up the lanes a little more for guys like DiPietro and Conroy, and all three of them will benefit from that open ice, and Maurice will try and add to his totals that he has. And Dave Tippett, I'm sure, and the Aeros realize how important of a week this is, especially with Atlanta coming up next Saturday, and of course Peoria on Friday, a team they just beat last week.
We'll get into Atlanta more as the night goes, but if you do not have your tickets for the Atlanta Knights yet, oh, that's going to be scary. I can't believe we're going to be able to see that game. Oh, I can't wait. Puck is in the Aeros zone. Donnelly changed it down behind the cage. He'll push it out the right side, and the Aeros clear it out at center. Controlled by Gord Roberts, and here is Ivan Corvo trying to get by Donnelly. Those two former NHL veterans going at it. Here's Stefan Morant, center one, blocked by O'Connor, and the Aeros are up ice. Here comes Miles O'Connor leading the rush with Freer and Townsend. O'Connor turns left side and dumped the puck into the Minnesota zone. Jim Paek back together, and then we're going to get our first penalty of the night. And I think it could be on the Minnesota Moose for hooking here. We'll have to wait and see with 11.5 to go in the first. And our referee again is Conrad Hatch. And I think they're going to take a Minnesota Moose player.
I have a feeling you're going to see a lot of interference, a lot of hooking calls on both teams tonight just because of the speed of the game already. If it stays this kind of game, it's going to be a real fast-paced game. And when you get that kind of speed flying around, you're going to have to put your stick out to slow some guys down. And so it looks like Moran will go to the box for hooking for 2 minutes, and the Aeros will be on their first power play of the night.
Getting Stefan Moran off is a plus for the Aeros. He comes in with a 12-game point, or he had a 12-game point streak from the 13th of December through the 5th of January. He was also the IHL Player of the Week for the week of December 31st, and the Aeros come in with their power play, as Casey would say, climbing 3 notches to number 13.
It certainly has climbed a bit, and the penalty killing on the Moose is not too bad. 9th in the IHL at 82.6%, so it'll be a pretty good action out there, I think.
A shot into the Aero zone, and Gamble will slow in behind the net. It's Lamb and Hurlbut at the points, and it's DiPietro with Turgeon and Hurd. So welcome back to Houston, Paul DiPietro. You're on the power play as well. DiPietro in on goal, cutting right side, centered. Oh, wow, that got knocked away. Here's Sean Williams in the corner, locked up by Hurd. The puck is clear, not out. Held in Hurlbut, takes the shot, trying to get it down. In for Hurd, tip for DiPietro. Falls DiPietro, base of the right circle. Oh, this pass is intercepted by Sean Williams, and here come the Moose shorthanded. Andy Schneider through the neutral zone, across the Aero line, trying to get the shot away. Lamb hauls him down, and a penalty coming up to Mark Lamb. Lamb got the stick locked in there pretty good, and that will negate the Aero power play. With 1:18 left in the Moran minor, Lamb will go in. So in 1:18, the Moose will get a 42-second power play.
And as I said, you're going to see a lot of hookings and a lot of interference. And right there, Mark Lamb takes a little bit extra with the stick and hauls down a Minnesota Moose player. And so that, like you said, will negate the power play and will even it up.
That takes us to our high-low rule book. And what you need is high-low. And we take a look at hooking. And that's when a player uses his stick or blade to hook an opponent. And I think Mark Lamb clearly does it here, Greener.
Well, Schneider seemed to get maybe an extra step, and then Mark Lamb put on the brakes and just got a little too much of Schneider as he tried to pull him back against the grain there. And he went down in a heap, and Mark Lamb finds himself in the penalty box.
Off the face-off, Aeros have it in their own zone. Maurice turning. The Aeros lead at 1-0 in this game. 10:43 to go in the first. Here's Miles O'Connor. Work the puck ahead to Conroy. Slammed out at center, and the Aeros are up ice. Laniel with O'Connor. You got 2 defensemen leading the charge. And then O'Connor lost the puck, and it's 2-on-1 the other way with Conroy, the only guy back. Across the line, Roberts makes an errant pass, and Laniel will clear it out at center for Mike Maurice, just out of his reach. Tell you what a weird turn of events. You got 2 defensemen leading at 2-on-1, and then you got only 1 guy back for Houston. It's a forward on a 2-on-1 the other way. It is Laniel in his own zone. Laniel turns, and he'll drift behind the cage. Forecheck by Chris Jensen in half a minute. The Moose will be on their first power play of the night. Slivchenko's pass for Conroy. That's knocked away by Jensen, and here's Corvo. One man to beat Hurlbut. Corvo coming in, and his shot. What a pad save made by Gamble. And it's picked up by Laniel, and shot out at center. Just missing Slivchenko, and Paek is there to play it. That will be icing on Houston. 15 seconds left in Moran. Then they're on the power play for 43 seconds or so. 9:48 remaining in the first. 1-0 Houston.
And Troy Gamble, as well as a few of the other players for the Aeros, have really picked up their game a lot. And Gamble seems to be playing with so much more confidence right now. He makes a good save on Corvo right here as it's just a swatting backhand, and he gets his toe on it. And I think one of the defensemen for the Aeros swept that up and cleared it out of the zone. But I tell you what, when you're playing with confidence, it seems like that puck's about 5 times the size of its normal size. And of course, Gamble seems to be picking everything up, and that's why Dave Tippett has gone to him for the 5th time in a row.
You're probably pretty familiar with the zone that Gamble's in right now.
I've been in it once or twice, but not often enough.
The Turner Cup, when you guys won it, were you in that zone?
I certainly think so.
You don't remember because you're unconscious, right?
It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling to know you're going to stop a puck, not think you are.
Yes.
And that's where Gamble is right now.
It is Dave Christian for Minnesota with a puck in his own zone. Lobs the puck ahead for Jensen. Moves it across the Aero blue line. Poke check by Hurlbut. Jim Paek trying to give it to Moran. The Aeros kick it free Arneal. And the Moose are on the power play for another 30 seconds. Jim Paek at center. Worked it at the Aero blue line. Freer stood him up. And then there's Arneal to shovel it right back down. And that will kill off most of the remaining 22 seconds. Back to play is Dave Christian. He'll move it from left to right. He's got Moran if he wants to pass, but Christian carried, and then the pass came to Moran. Across the line, cuts to the middle. Moran in the slot, wrist shot blocked loose. Puck stopped, Gamble swatted away, and it was poked away by Jensen, and then Gamble closes it right along the near wall. So Moran makes a nifty play, but the Moose can't get it in there with 3 seconds left to Mark Lamb, and it looks like the Aeros are going to kill off the power play.
A lot of times you'll ask goaltenders, what's more dangerous, a good hard shot or a scramble like this one? And there's about 4 deflections, a couple shots down low, and Gamble can't get a hook on it, but he still stays down and covers it up. Finally, Conroy shovels it back to him, and he gets a hold of it and holds it up against the post, but sometimes a goaltender has more trouble when there's little deflections and scrambles than just a good hard shot.
Aeros lead this game 1-0, but unofficially our statistician Neil Wilkins pointing out that Minnesota out shooting the Aeros 8-6. Puck is controlled by the Moose. It is Sandy Smith, centered one, cutting in. Gord Roberts couldn't get a shot away, and the Aeros are at center as the penalty's over. Pass for Lamb, deflected into Dave Gagnon, and Alexander Godinyak will clear it out at center ice. Here comes Ken Hodge across the line, rips a shot. Gamble stopped it, and he will cover up and hold on as Sandy Smith was in there to have a look at it, but play is halted. Timeout on the ice, 8:32 to go in the first. 1-0 Houston. Back right after this. It's 1-0 the Houston Aeros leading the Minnesota Moose. Adam Gordon, Mike Greenley. You know, very good friend of mine bought me this for Valentine's Day. And, you know, it came just before we went on the air, so I couldn't get it on in time. But what do you think?
Let me see.
Who says I have no heart? Greener.
You know, my suit's blue and that's black, but
Oh, boy. Tell you what,
doesn't go good enough.
You know who's got no heartbeat is Troy Gamble, as he just made an unconscious save there. And now we've got Jakes looking at Chris Govidaris, and we'll wait and see who the penalties are going to be on here. Jakes might have gotten the thing started, but I think it's going to be only Govidaris. And the Aeros will get another crack on the power play.
Well, Govidaris is one of the only two Minnesota Moose who is, I guess, what you call an Iron Man. He's played in all 54 games for the Minnesota Moose this year, and as well as Chris Imes. And the Aeros only have one man, and that is, I'll knock on wood for you, Al Conroy, because he says as soon as you talk about it, the guy seems to get injured. But it looks like Govidaris will go to the box, and the Aeros will be on the power play once again.
And a face-off will be in the center ice area, as I'll tell you, Troy Gamble had to make a good save here.
He certainly did. It comes right out in front, and he seems to drop down in that two-pad slide position, and eventually the rebound comes out, and a good job on the far right hand of your screen. If you're enjoying the game on Prime Sports, you saw what was going on in the corner, and I think Govidaris may have given Steve Jakes for the Houston Aeros a little too much of the stick.
Face-off control by Houston. Here's Freer in across the line with Arneal. Freer pulls up right side, looking for Arneal in the corner. Shovels it back to the line for Al Conroy. Conroy at the right point for Arneal. Sets the power play with 8:05 to go in the first. Arneal fakes the shot, sweeps it down. Freer just centered it just before O'Connor got there. Now on the boards, O'Connor trying to chop it down for Townsend. Bump for Freer, and now Arneal will take it in behind the net. Arneal to Freer, waiting, base of left circle, waiting, looks in front, pushed it back to the line for O'Connor. Aeros cycle the puck along the boards. This is clearly a good example of cycling the puck. And it's shot the length of the ice as Minnesota clears it. Back are the Aeros. And it's pushed into the Minnesota zone. It's controlled by Mark Freer. Freer, base of the right circle, getting set on the power play for Scott Arneal. Slips it down. Freer cuts in, stop shot. Gagnon got a piece of that, but it went to the corner again for Arneal. Scott Arneal trying to move it around Godinyak. It was knocked away, and Godinyak will shoot it the length of the ice. It was a double minor to Govidaris, by the way. We didn't pass that on. It's a 4-minute power play for Houston as the Aeros making changes. 2:44 left in the Govidaris double minor. Here comes DiPietro at center. Paul DiPietro shoots the puck into the Minnesota zone. Sandy Smith trying to clear. Knocked down DiPietro. Smith turns, shoveled it. It's right out at center and back into Aero territory. 6:50 to go in the first. Aeros lead at 1-0. 2:25 left in the Govidaris double minor. Mark Lamb. He will dipsy doodle a pass out to Hurlbut left side and across the Minnesota blue line. Center, Kelly Hurd. Wise, the drive by Turgeon. And Gagnon got a piece of that. And the net becomes dislodged in the Moose zone.
What a great save by Gagnon as he gets his pad on a big shot by Turgeon. Turgeon back in the lineup after missing 7, and wow, what a slap shot as he gets a one-timer fit across the slot as Hurlbut does a good job along the boards, and he moves the puck out into the middle right here, and who picks it up is, it looks like Laniel or Hurd. I'm not sure which one that was, but it was Hurd, and eventually Turgeon, who practices that one-time shot a lot, really let that one go low and hard, and Gagnon gets his foot over there and makes a great pad save.
I don't recall. Did you tell me when you were backing up in goal a couple of times in practice, did you say he pretty well is the toughest one you faced?
Well, yeah, he's got a really heavy shot. I've since faced Hurlbut, who also has a pretty heavy shot. But as far as forwards are concerned, Turgeon's got a very powerful, very heavy shot.
I think the difference between Turgeon and Hurlbut is Turgeon might have a little more accuracy, would you say?
Well, it's hard to say because you have a guy shooting on you from the point and another guy shooting on you from in close. It's hard to say.
Here come the Moose. Ken Hodge, short-handed, dropped it. The shot by Chris Imes. It was blocked by Gamble. Puck centered. Here's Jim Paek. He winds, fakes the shot. Now lets it fly. It went wide. Picked up Sean Williams' shot. Turned away by Gamble. 1:48 to go in the power play. Lamb launched one out at center. It got through DiPietro. The Moose trying to bring it ahead. Ooh, DiPietro slides one in, but Jim Paek was there. It goes into the Aeros zone, and here is Mark Lamb. Lamb up out at center, trying to get away from Andy Schneider with 1:29 on the power play. Lamb slides for Slivchenko too far. Godinyak chased it down. It was tipped away by Slivchenko. Hurd in the corner. Get it to DiPietro. They battle for it. DiPietro trying to dig it out. It's back to the line, but intercepted by Sandy Smith. He'll come to center for Minnesota. Smith and across the Aero blue line. Smith shorthanded. Centered, but it was blocked by Lamb. Mark Lamb spanks one out at center, and Conroy's got it 2-on-1 with Freer. Here's Conroy. Ready to go. Wines takes the shot. Now cuts behind the net. Still can't get a man, but he gives to Slivchenko. To Laniel. Over to Miles O'Connor. Here's Freer along the left side. Mark Freer waiting on the power play. Freer cuts it down for Conroy. He's got Slivchenko in the low, but Dave Gagnon makes a marvelous play as he gets a stick on that puck. Aeros still with 42 on the power play. Slivchenko trying to cut in on goal. Slivchenko gives the puck to Freer. He will wait in behind the net, playing peekaboo with the penalty killers. Gives to Slivchenko. Here's the drive by O'Connor. It was off the skates of Sandy Smith. Picked up by Slivchenko again for Houston with under half a minute to go on the power play. O'Connor to Laniel, the drive. Gagnon stopped it, and Andy Schneider tried to clear, but Sandy Smith will. Smith rips that into the Houston Aero zone with 4:35 to go in the first. 1-0 Houston, 10 seconds left in the power play. Here are the Minnesota Moose in the Aero zone. Knocked away by O'Connor. He tried to clear, could not. Gord Roberts slides it down. Here's a chance. Chris Jensen steered one in as the penalty is over. Teams at 5 aside. Jensen takes a bump. Moran in the corner. Lost the puck as Arneal gave him a shot. Now a shot by Corvo. And Campbell makes the save. He will hold on, and we take a timeout. 4 minutes, 11 seconds to go in the first period. It's the Aeros 1, the Minnesota Moose no score. We'll be back after this.
Welcome back to the Summit. The Aeros lead it 1-0 on a goal by Mark Freer. And on that last power play, we've had a chance to grade it. And we've given it an overall no, but pretty good on puck movement. They had a couple good shots, but not enough. Continuous pressure, they didn't force them enough, and had good composure throughout because they kept coming down and getting into the zone. But they need to get some more pressure and some more shots, I think.
All right. Puck is controlled by the Aeros. And here is Graham Townsend, the right side pass. Came to Freer out at neutral. Into the Minnesota zone. Ooh, pounced up on Dave Gagnon. He had to look like Biggio on that one, trying to get in front of it and scoop it up, and he will hold on to that with 3:55 to go in the first and a 1-0 Aero lead.
Gagnon has had to make a few amazing saves. 3 I can remember right off the top of my head. And then that shot comes in there. Freer bounces one in from the blue line, and those are always tough for a goaltender. You have to be, I guess, you have to be sharp mentally in your game to make a save like that, just because sometimes those pucks trick you.
You have 2 elements that really can change that. One is the way the puck lands on its edge, and number 2, if it hits a rut in the ice. Those are the 2 factors that change its direction. Puck is in behind the net. DiPietro blocked by Paek. In there they battle for it. Conroy trying to shake off a check from Dave Christian. Christian trying to fire it away. Conroy in there battling good. Then Conroy says the stick's a hindrance, so I'm going to drop it. Puck came out in front, and Chris Imes is there. Imes gives to Jim Paek, and he'll move it up ice for Dave Christian. Christian had it stripped by DiPietro, and the Aeros will regroup. They lead it 1-0, 3:27 to go. Paul DiPietro lost the puck. Laniel had to go back into his own zone. It is Laniel in his own end. He'll move it up ice. The pass. Jakes moved it through Christian, and then Jakes had to regroup in his own end. 3:10 to go in the opening period here from the Summit. Aeros lead it 1-0, and a good start to this hockey game. Jim Paek gives the pass to Schneider. Rink wide for Sean Williams, and it's blasted out at center and back into Houston Aero territory. Jake scampers back to play, and he'll quickly swing it out to center, trying to catch the Moose in a line change. It goes into the Minnesota zone. Gagnon tried to slow it. Back is Chris Miller. He'll fire it off the boards. It came to the line. Sandy Smith trying to clear. Cannot. Lamb takes it back. Lamb looking for Turgeon. Centered it, but Smith read it nicely, and he'll pop it away. Here come the Minnesota Moose. Andy Smith in across the Aero blue line. Smith, sharp angle shot, and he hoisted it wide of the net. Mark LaForge jammed it down. It went back to the corner. Near side Aero territory. Govadaris was there, but it was pushed away by Turgeon. And it's back down the ice. Here's Chris Miller. That is icing. And the faceoff back into the Houston Aeros zone with 2:18 remaining and a 1-0 Aero lead.
I think Dave Tippett believes that maybe the acquisition of Paul DiPietro again could be that last person to solidify an already pretty strong lineup for the Aeros. The Aeros have played really well under this system, and I think DiPietro will just only add to something like that.
We were moments from going on the air, and DiPietro hadn't shown up for warm-ups yet, as we said, with 5 minutes to go. And I went to Dave just before we went on the air. I says, Dave, will he play? He says, Adam, I don't know. It's a matter of how he feels. He said most likely yes, but you have to see how a guy feels, especially when he only gets 5 minutes of warm-up. And so far, DiPietro's had some chances.
He certainly has. He could have had a goal early there and has really set up some good plays.
Here's a try by Donnelly. It was spanked wide of the net. Godinyak trying to clear, could not. O'Connor's shot went off the shoulder of Alex Godinyak, and Ivan Korovo is there. Korovo lost it. Freer gets it into the slot. Donnelly shoots. Gagnon stopped the rebound. They score! Scott Arneal off the Donnelly drive. It's a 2-0 Aero lead.
There's someone who's really picked up their game as well. Both Donnelly and Arneal have. Donnelly is shooting the puck a lot more, as well as blocking just as many shots as he always does. And he gets a good hard shot from the point. Gagnon had to make a real good skate save as the puck deflects out into the slot. A great skate save by Gagnon, and chopping away at it is Arneal, and Arneal puts her right upstairs. Arneal gets his 17th of the season and now is tied for second on the team with goals for at 17. Of course, Lipchenko has 20, and he leads the team. A great goal by Arneal.
Off the face-off, it is Mike Maurice. Pass controlled by Krupke. Turns it up for Conroy. Conroy and across the line. DiPietro shoots. Gagnon stopped it. And it was controlled by Alex Godinyak. The puck, Godinyak shoveled out at center. Tipped away by Krupke. Schneider trying to fend off the check. Got it into the Aero zone with 1:25 to go in the period. 2-0 Houston. Conroy, the pass, DiPietro. He'll slide down the right side. Paul DiPietro looking in. Paul DiPietro trying to get a pass in front. It was knocked away by Gordy Roberts. And then he will turn it to the near side for Sean Williams. Williams bumped by Maurice along the boards. Conroy trying to wrestle it away. It went down for Dave Christian. And with 1:05 to go, here come the Moose, trailing 2-0. Christian out at center. Christian fired it into the Aero end. Gamble slowed behind the cage. And Mike Hurlbutt will fire it up the boards for Kelly Hurd. Hurd's pass came out at center. And the Moose are there. Jim Paek pushed it into the Aero zone where Hurlbutt takes over. And we got a whistle and a penalty. It's going to be a cross-checking penalty here.
I think Gord Krupke might be the one getting it too. Gord Krupke earlier in the play stepped up really nice and put his shoulder into Govaderis. I didn't see what exactly the penalty was when it occurred, but I think maybe Krupke got the stick up on another play afterwards and maybe took the cross-checking. And so the Minnesota Moose will have the power play. The Minnesota Moose so far this year on the power play are last in the league, something the Aeros used to be, and are at 12.3%. So the Aeros will have to go to the killing side of it, and they've moved up just a notch ahead of Atlanta on the penalty kill at 76.9%. But what started the play, I think, is as the puck was cleared out right there on your right side of the screen. If you're enjoying the game on Prime, I think you saw Gord Krupke stepping up on the play once again, and this time he might have got his stick up a little too high for the referee's liking.
And the Moose will get their second chance on the power play. And here come the Moose up and out at center ice. A pass, right side, Govaderis, and across the line, centered one for Smith, couldn't get there. And covering up was Troy Gamble with 25 seconds to go in the first. 2-0 Houston, goals by Mark Freer and Scott Arneal. Boy, I'll tell you what, you get the line of Freer and Arneal going. I think the DiPietro line will take care of itself, and Lamb is taking care of himself all season. The Aeros offensively, I think, have a lot of accolades heading their way.
Talked to a lot of the players, and they think DiPietro is that last link they need to really solidify this team. They've got strong defense and obviously strong goaltending right now, and this will really help them out.
Here's Conroy shorthanded. Conroy moving in, ripped the shot. Gagnon stopped it, and the Moose take over. And the thing is, I don't think the Aeros are playing just to get into the playoffs. Yeah, they got to get in first, but I think with DiPietro, they can make some, they can do some serious damage in the playoffs. It's Mark Lamb, turns the pass ahead for Conroy. Here they come short-handed as the buzzer sounds, ending this first period. And a terrific first period for the Houston Aeros as they jump out to a 2-0 lead. 1:15 left in the penalty to Krupke when we resume play in the second period. When we return, more from the Summit. Our score, it's the Aeros 2, the Moose nothing. Back after this. Back in the Summit, Adam Gordon along with Mike Greenlay. It's a 2-0 hockey game. The Aeros leading the Minnesota Moose. And Greener, you know, we've talked most of this broadcast about Paul and DiPietro's impact and a little bit about Turgeon's impact returning. It seems to me we forgot about another kid that could be back soon, and that's Mike Yeo.
Yeah, certainly. He's the kind of player that's going to add so much to this lineup as far as the physical side. But he's a guy that they didn't necessarily expect to really put as many goals in as he has, but he's really lit it up. And so now he adds both the physical side of the game, which is so important, and he also adds that goal scoring and playmaking ability. So, I mean, this guy's really turned out to be a well-rounded player.
You know, you look at the jump the Aeros had in that first period, and I think clearly the difference in the hockey game at this point, especially for Minnesota's side of things, is goaltender Dave Gagnon.
Oh, unbelievable. He's made some great saves, and we're talking to some of the people from Minnesota before the game, and they were saying, you know what, his numbers don't do him any respect right now because he has been put into some pretty tough situations, and he's come up pretty big and kept us in the games, and that's what the Minnesota people are saying. So it's obvious tonight that we're seeing the same thing. He's made some unbelievable saves, otherwise it could easily be 4 or 5-0.
And you talk about the unbelievable saves he's been making, and he started off early as you look at the highlights from the first period.
Well, right away, Conroy takes a puck and he moves in, and DiPietro drives to the net. Conroy lets one fly here, and it gets behind him, and somehow he gets his arm back there and gets his body on it. That was just one of the great saves he made, but it didn't last that long because the Aeros then found a way to beat Gagnon. It was Arneal feeding it up the wing, and it was Freer skating into this pass with a breakaway, and it seems like Freer, everything he touches seems to go in the net now, and he beats Gagnon with that one, but it didn't. The play was made by Arneal by feeding it up the wing and trying to clear the zone, and Freer anticipating and getting on that puck and sliding it home.
So Freer gets his 14th of the year at 46 seconds into the hockey game. Arneal the only assist. Aeros led it 1-0. They were not done.
They certainly weren't, and it's by a play by a Freer, actually. Freer feeds it, and it goes off a skate, comes out front. Donnelly takes a shot, and the rebound comes right to Arneal. He puts it right underneath the bar. It's his 17th of the season, but the real play, it's funny, started. Freer was originally trying to feed Arneal, but it came to Donnelly. Donnelly does the right thing. Gagnon makes a good save, but the rebound
Right on Arneal's stick, and he makes no bones about it. He puts it right upstairs.
Gord Donnelly and Mark Freer getting the assist, and you know, you see the name Gord Donnelly down there. He not only, we've talked about his defensive play. I mean, he's really the man that blocks the shots. He's been playing a lot better defense in the second half of the season, but he's starting to make some things happen offensively.
Oh, he certainly is. He has 3 goals in his last 15 or 16 games, and 16 now, and he's adding assists. So he's getting into some of the scoring punch too, which is good to see.
All right, when we return, we'll look at the stats from that first period right after this. It's 2-0 Houston. We'll be right back. The Aeros leading the Minnesota Moose by a score of 2-0, and we're about ready to start second period action, and we'll take a look at tonight's first period stats brought to you by your local Texas Chrysler Plymouth dealers. Shots on goal in the first period, Minnesota with 13, the Aeros with 12. Aeros 0 for 2 on the power play. I put them 0 for 3 when you consider a double minor. It's like having 2 power plays. So really, they had a short-lived regular minor, a single minor, and then they had the 4-minute double minor to Chris Govidaris. Could not do anything with it, so in my mind it's 0 for 3, but 0 for 2 is the proper stat, and the Moose are 0 for 1. Face-offs, the Aeros again dominating in the face-off circle, 16-8, and the Aeros 2 penalties for 4 minutes. The Minnesota Moose 3 penalties for 6 minutes, and Greener, you know, we look at the face-off numbers. You weren't in Cleveland when you watched really the Aeros in the last 5 minutes just own the face-off circle, but what you did get to see was Peoria and Chicago, and winning face-offs is so key. The Aeros center icemen are doing a terrific job, and again, all of a sudden the name DiPietro makes it that much better.
Well, it certainly does. I mean, if you get possession of the puck right at the beginning of the play, you're controlling the play, you're deciding what happens with it, and if you can't control the puck right off the bat, that means you have to work and go get it. But so I think it's better that the Aeros start out with it, and they're doing that. They're winning the face-offs and giving themselves possession.
All right, the Aeros lead it 2-0 in the first intermission. When we return, second period action. Back after this. It's 2-0 the Aeros as they lead their way back onto the ice. And ladies and gentlemen, Diamond Cutters International and the Houston Aeros are proud to present the $1 Million Puck. That's right, it's a hockey puck made out of platinum, completely covered with 171 carats of pure white diamonds and 4 carats of emeralds. You could win it at select Aero home games this season. One fan will be chosen to take a shot on goal to win the $1 Million Puck. You gotta see it to believe it, and you can. It's on display at the Summit at all Houston Aero home games. That's the $1 Million Puck, brought to you by Diamond Cutters International, the official jeweler of your Houston Aeros. And we were lucky enough to hold that thing and have it on camera. Greener, did you ever give it back?
Well, all I did, I plucked a couple of the diamonds out of it. They still haven't noticed it, so I'm not going to say anything.
Well, this first period for the Minnesota Moose has been dismal all year. They've been outscored at 67-57 in first periods this year. And for the Aeros, it had seemed at times most of the year the second period had been their downfall, and they're going to try and keep the pressure on. But I'll tell you what, Mark Freer and Scott O'Neill with a goal and an assist each playing together on that line. Gee, we've never seen that before, Houston Aero fans.
Well, it's good to see it again. As for a while there, they weren't seeing it as often as they liked, and now it seems a regular occurrence, and doing a great job.
I want to ask you a question. We were talking about Turgeon's hard shot and Mike Hurlbut's hard shot. As quickly as you can think back in your IHL career, who's had the hardest shot that you faced when you played?
Ooh, quickly, I've had a lot of guys that can really heat it up. Trying to think. Corey Foster plays for
Cleveland.
Cleveland, right? He has a smoking slap shot. I mean, it used to hurt when it hit you.
Yeah.
Right now, that seems to be the name that comes to the top of my head. But I'm sure I'm not giving a lot of respect to some guys that really have a hard shot. So.
You know who I like is Jeff Medill, who's got a great shot.
Jeff Medill does have a really hard shot. Him and I used to have some great practices. It would be key. We'd keep track of every shot in practice. It was pretty good. But his has a more accuracy tendency than it does hard.
All right, we're underway with the second period. Aeros with a 2-blot lead at 2-0. Puck is shot ahead to Freer, was scraped off the puck. Ivan Corvo turning with a shot. Remember, the Moose are on the power play to start this period. A minute left in that. Gord Roberts turned one in front. It was intercepted by Gord Donnelly, and it shot down the ice. It is back in the Minnesota zone, and out of the net, Dave Gagnon will set it behind the cage, and away the Moose come. Alexander Godinyak rolled the puck ahead to Stefan Morin, and it is Gord Roberts whipped it into the Aero zone. Near side, Lamb trying to clear. He's pushed into the boards by Morin. Battle for the puck. In there was Corvo. One of the Aeros had fallen on it. I think it was Mark Freer that was on top of it. No, it's Gord Donnelly that was on top of it. And that'll bring a face-off into the Aero zone with 45 seconds gone in the second. 32 seconds left in the Gord Krupke penalty. We talked about Gord Donnelly and what he has brought to life. Gord Krupke, I'll tell you, the Aero defenseman, Krupke really has played terrific ever since he came back from the shoulder injury, but guys like Gord Donnelly and Miles O'Connor that got maligned a lot of times this year have really picked up their play big time.
Yeah, I was looking forward to having a few more of those phone calls about how bad these guys are playing, because they're not. And they're certainly have picked up their games even from where they were playing, and it's a good thing to see.
And now Conroy had a chance shorthanded, but Jim Paek poked that away at the last second. Christian turning in behind the net. Christian moving up the right side, pass knocked away by Conroy, and he'll slide it into the Minnesota zone where Paek will go back. Jim Paek, watched by Lamb. He'll push it up the boards for Chris Jensen, and the Moose will move it up ice. 7 seconds left in the Krupke minor. Here is Ivan Corvo in across the Aero blue line. Corvo center one, shot stopped by Gamble. Puck came to the near corner as the penalty is over. Krupke back on the ice. This Paek a drive, glove saved by Gamble. He bobbled it a little bit with 1.5 gone by, but it'll hold on 2-0 Aeros.
Gamble has one of the smallest gloves I've ever seen in the IHL or any league for that matter. I think the last time I saw a glove with a pocket that small was when I was just a kid, but he seems to like the comfort of the small glove. He says he can hang on to it a lot better. There, you know, you look at some goalie gloves these days, and I think the goalie stands at the side of the net and he just puts the glove in front and he stops everything. They're so big. But Gamble says he likes the small glove. It's more comfortable in his hand. He says it makes his hand quicker, and so if the puck sometimes pops out, it's because it's not as deep of a pocket. But he says he can pick them out of the air a lot quicker.
Off the draw, here's a drive by Chris Miller and a glove save made by Gamble.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
A great glove save there on a one-timer from the point as Miller blasts one, and Gams definitely got all of the pocket on that one as he hung on with no problem there. The face-off was one right to Miller, and he blasts this one, and Gamble picks this one out of the air, and he certainly is playing really well. As a good face-off there as Hodge kicks it to the point, and without even blink, he lets it fly, and a great job by Gamble picking that one up.
Aeros bring the puck up ice. Turgeon steered for Hurd. Went to the corner. Chris Miller as LaForge scrapes Turgeon. This is going to be a classic case of interference, obstruction, interference. Turgeon had a clear path to the puck, and Mark LaForge obstructed his path to the puck. And the Aeros are going to get another crack on the power play.
Well, LaForge just got back from a knee injury, and he's back in the lineup playing the tough style that he's always played. And there he gets in front of Turgeon as Turgeon was trying to make it to the puck. And so LaForge will go off for 2 minutes, and you can see Turgeon back in his skating style there, trying to get to the puck. And yeah, like you said, Adam, a classic case of obstruction interference as he steps in front of him, not letting him get to his other defensive partner. And the Aeros will find themselves on the power play once again.
DiPietro will come out there as he's lined up with Turgeon. Hurd off the draw. Moose have got it. Paek cleared to the line. Oh, got by Hurl, but it'll go back down the ice. It is power play number 3. The Aeros have just one shot on goal, and we'll see how they do on this power play. It is Lamb. A pass up the middle for DiPietro. And across the Minnesota line, it was poke check. Aeros were off sides, and face-off will come back to center. Just about 2 minutes gone by in the second. 2-0 Houston. Well, we got a second, Greener. I'd like to wish you and your better half a very happy Valentine's Day. I'm sure you're looking forward to getting home, spend some time with Amy, and I'd like to wish her a very happy Valentine's Day.
And I'd like to wish you the same, but I'd also like to wish you a happy birthday. I understand you're keeping a secret from me, and I can't believe you didn't tell me earlier.
I didn't tell anybody.
It's a happy birthday to Adam Gordon.
Thank you. You're dead meat, Greener. Here is Mike Hurlbut. It's played by Lamb up the left side. And here come the Houston Aeros. Paul DiPietro right side. Turning, sends the puck back to Lamb. Getting set on the power play. Hurlbut's got a chance. Slides it down for Turgeon. And his cross-ice pass picked up by Lamb. Lamb back to the line for Hurlbut. The long shot, Gagnon stuck at the side in midair. And it screams to the near boards. Held in by Turgeon. Sylvain Turgeon for Conroy. Picked up by DiPietro. Dropped for Conroy and back for DiPietro. On the power play with 1:05. Conroy waiting. In behind the cage to the line. Here's Lamb. Drifts a pass to Conroy. Aeros are moving it fine. Now here's Lamb the drive. Gagnon stopped it. Rebound. It went to the far corner as Gagnon got a piece of it. Held to the left point by Lamb. Faked the shot. Lamb give to Turgeon the shot. Hooked just wide of the net. Here's DiPietro centered. Knocked away. Back to the line. It is Lamb with 43 on the power play. Aeros doing a terrific job holding the puck in. Hurlbut slides it in behind the cage for DiPietro. Paul DiPietro right side trying to slice in on goal. It was knocked away by Paek and cleared down the ice. 29 seconds remaining in the penalty to Mark LaForge. It is Lamb in behind the net. He was forechecked by Christian, gives to Miles O'Connor. Power play down to 19 seconds. O'Connor ripped it into the Minnesota zone. Freer after it. It came to Arneal. Got it to the line. Laniel held it in, but it was scooped away by Chris Miller. And that'll do it for the Aero power play that now goes 0 for 3. Again, very patient. Couldn't really get but maybe one good chance on Dave Gagnon. Laniel hooks a pass into the Minnesota zone. Freer backhander. Stuck aside by Gagnon. And play is whistled down. We take timeout. 16-17 to go in a 2-0 Aero lead. We'll be back right after this, but first this word from Southwest Airlines. Back in the Summit, it's 2-0 Houston with 16-17 to go. Greener, what was your thought on that power play?
Well, I think overall, I'm going to give them a good execution, but they need to do better on the shooting because they didn't do that. That's the only thing they didn't do well. They moved the puck around really well, had good pressure and good composure, but they still need to get some more shots if they're going to plan on scoring on Gagnon, who's having a pretty good game, even though the 2-0 deficit for him.
It is Jakes, hooks the pass into the Minnesota zone. Gord Roberts goes back, tapped into the boards by Townsend, swept away Arneal, banks it back to the line, Laniel. Arneal getting set on the moving down. Arneal in behind the net, trying to shake off a check at Gord Roberts. Pinching was Jakes, but Ivan Corvo was there. Couldn't get it out of the zone. Roberts tapped into the boards by Townsend, and the Moose bring it up ice. The pass got through Chris Jensen, and it's into the Aero end. Gamble comes out to play, and then he says, no, he better not. Corvo goes in, and Jakes drills him into the boards with a huge shoulder check, and Corvo is down. Oh man, Steve Jakes lowered the boom on Ivan Corvo, and I'll tell you how big a hit that is. Ivan Corvo, no slouch at all. This guy is big, rugged, and tough, but Steve Jakes lowered the boom on him.
And it was a good clean hit too. They were both going for the puck, and it was a hit right into the shoulder of Corvo, and he steps into him, and Corvo loses his balance, and that's a kind of a collision we saw with Mike Hurlbut, except Hurlbut's was a little worse. But actually, there could be an argument there that Jakes got a little bit on the interference there, as the puck was already down deep in the corner.
Watch his knee. For those of you watching on Prime Sports, watch his knee. That might be more of what it is than the shoulder. I don't know if this angle will show. Yeah, right there. Look at that.
Well, I think what happened is you get hit and you immediately lose your edge a little bit, and you try and regain it. But those boards are looming really quickly, and I think the knee really doesn't get hurt until he does hit the boards, and that's when the impact. But I think most of the what happened to him was the impact itself, and not necessarily any knee or shoulder injury. But he really took that one on full body, and I'm glad he's not too badly injured.
Yeah. Here's Hurlbut trying to get the puck out of the zone. Aeros able to move it up. They've got a 2-on-2. DiPietro with Conroy. Conroy right side takes the pass. Centered for DiPietro. Couldn't get the shot away. Along the left side, battle for the puck came behind the Minnesota net. After it out, Conroy. He'll chase it down to the corner. Conroy gives to Paul DiPietro. Base of the right circle in the Minnesota zone, but he was shaded off the puck by Gord Roberts, and the puck is cleared out at center. Here come the Moose. Ooh, one of the Aeros, Hurlbut, went in with Sandy Smith. Jumped on by Godinyak. He'll fire one to the far side. Hurlbut couldn't play because his stick was being held. Here's Govideras, a backhander, and that went wide. Sandy Smith went in after it for Govideras. Puck centered. Godinyak turning, but can't get a shot away. And Hurlbut is there. He'll get it to Maurice, but chipped back in by Roberts. Delayed offsides. Moose have to clear the zone. It is out at center for Maurice. Trying to spring Conroy. The pass just too far. And out of the net, Gagnon. He'll flip it along the boards for Lamb. He tries to turn it along the wall. They battle for it with 14.5 to go in the second period. And a 2-0 Aero lead. It is Jim Paek. Shovels the puck into the Aero zone. Gamble slows it. And it is controlled by the Houston Aeros. Out at center, knocked away. And into the Aero zone. Aeros playing. O'Connor. He'll shovel it up, but not out. Good shot by Sean Williams. And it's played ahead for Mark Lamb and back out at center ice. Here come the Moose. Jim Paek. Work it to Andy Schneider. It's back to neutral ice, and Miles O'Connor is there right side. Give it to Kelly Hurd, but Jim Paek turned it away. And it goes back into Aero territory for Miles O'Connor. 13:48 to go in the second. Here is Kelly Hurd. He's dumped by Paek. Crowd wants a penalty, won't get it. Chris Himes, he'll turn it away. Andy Schneider in his own zone for Minnesota. The pass to Paek, tip for Himes, and here come the Moose. Schneider at center. Dumped it in, and Campbell will glove it. And he'll play it while the Moose make changes. John Brill on for his first shift, attacking Turgeon along the wall. Chris Jensen poked it ahead. It's knocked away, and Jensen will pursue. Into the Aero zone. Campbell comes out, knocks it for Freer. Brill trying to knock him down, though. Puck behind the cage. Moran fighting for it with Jakes. Here's Chris Jensen. Base of the left circle. Ran into his own man, Moran. They both went down, and Turgeon is off to the races. 7 minutes into the second. 2-0 Houston. Here's Turgeon. Cutting right in on goal! Great save by Gagnon. Rebound! Gagnon stopped that one, too. Wow! And the puck goes to the corner. Now it is controlled by Minnesota. Back to the line, Jakes. Turn it behind for Townsend. Trying to get it out in front. They battle for it. Moran tipped it away. Came out in front, but John Brill was there. Jensen, he's out at center. 2-on-1 with Miller. Wide, shoots, Gamble to save. Rebound picked up by John Brill. Brill winding, shooting, changed direction, but it went wide of the net. Gord Roberts over to Moran. Couldn't gather in the loose puck. Turgeon laboring in this shift. He needs a line change. Turgeon couldn't clear. Jakes will. It'll go the length of the ice, but no icing as Gagnon comes out to play. Gagnon, boy, he can really fire that puck. It came to Freer with an open net, but couldn't get the shot away. He didn't get good wood on it. And it is Gord Roberts. A pass out at center. Moran looks in front. Here's Jensen. Right in. Gamble. Great save and a left hand and a penalty coming up. And we've got Jakes going at it with one of the Moose. They are all locked up behind the bench, and the linesmen get in there to separate. And while they do that, we take a timeout. 8 minutes gone by in the second. It's the Aeros 2, the Moose no score. Don't go away. Back after this.
Welcome back to the Summit. 2-0 Aeros. 12:02 remaining in the second period, and Sylvain Turgeon's speed certainly looks like it's back as he busts through the mid zone and then kicks on the Jets to break around the Minnesota defense. A great save by Gagnon as Turgeon gets a good shot, but watch Freer right behind him. Gets an excellent chance himself. Gagnon made that save too, but Turgeon looks like he's right back into it with that kind of speed, and he was certainly kicked in the Jets right afterwards, which means he's got some speed to spare.
They're taking a look at all the penalties right now. Chris Govidaris is going to the box. You know, we were talking about Dave Gagnon and how he can really fire that puck. I have never seen a blade of a stick like Dave Gagnon. This thing looks like a banana.
Yeah, he does.
Look at that.
He does have a good hook on that thing, and you know, goaltenders are allowed to have any kind of curve they want on the stick. Just the width of that blade is what comes into question when they measure a goaltender's stick, as well as the length of the paddle, which is where that you see the writing on it. That's where the length of that also, or the width of that comes into play as well. And so a lot of times you'll see a measurement of a goalie stick. It'll be for the width, not for the curve.
You'll recall last year Las Vegas caught Troy Gamble, and it was for exactly the same thing. They shaved the blade down a little bit because they like to put tape on it. And I think Troy likes to get a little extra pass or two with his tape, and that made it a little thicker last year.
Well, sometimes they come from the factory illegal, and you have to shave them down to make them legal.
Yeah. All right, here comes DiPietro on the power play, and the Aeros are offside. This is their fourth power play. Believe it or not, they have just 2 shots on goal unofficially on the power play, and Dave Tippett screaming out, "Let's set her up, boys." They've been patient. I mean, their 3 power plays have been very patient.
And there's someone who doesn't have any patience right now with the opposition. They're talking to each other about the last few plays and why they punched each other in the head. Really a rough behind that net there, and they're all gonna take a little break.
It's Valentine's Day. Can't we all be friends? No. The puck is in the Minnesota zone. The Aeros fighting for it. Conroy erupts to the right side. Here's Conroy back to the line. Hurl, but quick pass came to DiPietro behind the Minnesota cage. Jammed it over to Kelly Hurd. Hurd had it tipped away by Sean Williams. It's to the line, not out. Held in by Lamb. Lamb on the power play. Down to 123 on the man advantage. Gives to Conroy. Here's Lamb. One-time shot. Hoisted that high and wide. It's picked up by Godinuk, and he'll shovel that the length of the ice. 11:16 to go in the second period. Aeros lead it 2-0. A minute 10 on the power play. It is Lamb, drills it in. Here's a chance. DiPietro knocked down. Here's the shot by Hurd. Gagnon stopped it. And another penalty coming up to the Minnesota Moose. It'll be a hooking minor. And the Aeros are going to get a 2-man advantage for a minute 4.
The Aeros putting on a lot of pressure, and right now Miller's not too happy with the call as he hooked down what looked like to be Lamb at the side of the net. And so the Aeros will have a chance on the power play again, except this time they'll have 2-man advantage as they go to the power play and try and make this one 3-0. But the puck comes out, and being hooked on the play, it looks like DiPietro, not Lamb. They both look quite similar, except for the number, of course. And then Hurd got a great chance, but once again, Gagnon comes up and makes a great glove save to keep the score 2-0.
Well, we were talking to some of the guys from the Moose Hockey Club, and they were saying, don't let the numbers of Gagnon fool you. He has played pretty well this year.
He certainly has, and he comes up with some very big saves. He himself was another goaltender through the Detroit Red Wing organization, and has played very well tonight and played well as of late.
Face-off is in the circle to the left side of Dave Gagnon. 6 down, drop of the puck, and the Aeros win the draw. Lamb moves to the top of the slot. Aeros with a 2-man advantage for 60 seconds. Lamb setting up top of the slot over to Turgeon. Winds, ripped the shot just wide of the net. Freer trying to bang one in there, couldn't gather it in. Behind the net, Freer, his pass. Ooh, DiPietro had to chase it down. It's knocked away by Hodge. Hodge trying to move in, and Lamb trying to ride him off. Here's Hodge, dropped it back. Shot stopped by Gamble, and then it was kicked away by Turgeon. I'll tell you what, Mark Lamb makes a heck of a play there because the referee's just looking for a reason to even things up. Lamb with a great play there. Here's a delayed offsides on the Aeros, and the face-off will be back at center.
And a great save by Gamble on the following play. Good job by Lamb, though, as you mentioned. He came in there and he used his body along with his stick a little bit to screen himself away from the puck. And the following up on the play, good job as the Aeros get back and back check. You know, you don't want to see this too much on your own power play, but Hodge drops the puck back, and Christian gets a good shot. Gamble with a great save, and Turgeon comes back and kicks the puck to the corner. But yeah, that play was made by Lamb, and a good hustle to get back and help out.
The angle that we got to see on the replay may not tell us totally. Like, that could have very well been a goal for Christian, because you got Lamb sliding through with Hodge. He could have very easily been screen Troy Gamble on that Christian shot, but he made the save.
Not only that, but he was going against the grain as Christian shot it the other way.
Here's a chance for Lamb. He's got 20 seconds on the two-man advantage, 1:15 left in the penalty to Miller. Lamb, pass over to Hurlbut, sets it back to Lamb, top of the slot, hit to DiPietro, centered, here's Freer, waits, center, shot, score! Scott O'Neill from Mark Freer and Paul DiPietro. It's a power play goal. Aeros lead it 3-0, and they stay on the power play.
Great composure by both of these players in front of the net. A good job up near the point by Lamb and Hurlbut as they feed it around. Finally, the puck will get down to Freer, and he does an exceptional job of pulling it back, waiting for Gagnon to go down, and then getting it to Arneal. It goes back door to Freer, and he can shoot it right now, but he doesn't. He waits for Arneal to get into position. He gives it to him, and Arneal has nothing but an open net to put it into, as Gagnon had committed to Freer. And Freer, a great job getting it to Arneal. Another Freer-Arneal, Freer play, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that as Arneal gets his 18th of the season, second of the night.
We're halfway through the hockey game. 3-0 Houston. They stay on the power play. Conroy drills it into the Minnesota zone. To the far side, it came back to the line for Miles O'Connor. For Laniel, cuts in, shoots. Gagnon stopped that with a left pad. It is Graham Townsend. Get it to Sylvain Turgeon. Ooh, gets the stick high on Gord Roberts, but play moves on. Now the puck goes back into the Aeros zone, and out of the net Troy Gamble, and Miles O'Connor will play it. O'Connor gives the puck to Laniel. Laniel's pass brought in by Turgeon. Here's Conroy right side. Flipped it in front, but Christian is able to clear it down the ice. 9:25 remaining in the second period. A 3-0 Aero lead. Lamb turning into his own zone, gives the puck to Miles O'Connor, and it's brought in across the line. Slivchenko trying to turn it down. Lamb picked it up in the corner, looks along the boards. They grapple for it. Here is Gord Roberts. He's checked into the boards by Kelly Hurd. Penalty is over to Chris Miller. Teams are at 5 aside, but the Aeros got their damage with a power play goal. Laniel right side shoots the puck into the Minnesota zone. Back to play it is Gord Roberts behind the cage. The flip to Chris Miller. 8:50 to go in the second. The Aeros with a 3-0 lead. Puck is shot the length of the ice. It'll go into the Aero zone. Schneider chased it down. Schneider takes a hit from Hurlbut. A nice hit by Mike Hurlbut. And he'll clear the puck out at center. Hurd tried to bank it ahead, but Jim Paek goes back to play. Forecheck by Slivchenko. And it is Stefan Morin. The pass to Corvo across the line. Corvo right in. A backhander hit the side of the net. Corvo centered one. Tipped away. And here come the Aeros. Kelly Hurd with Freer and Slivchenko. Here comes Mark Freer left side. Pulls up. Centered one, but nobody there for Houston. And the Moose clear it. Jensen chased it down, but O'Connor trying to chop it away. Puck drop back. Morin waiting, shooting. Gamble save. Puck behind him. Oh, a loose puck, and the Aeros are there. Here is Townsend at center. Pass. Arneal centered, but Townsend couldn't get the shot away. Here's Freer the shot. Oh, Gagnon poked that away, and the Jensen is able to clear it out at center. It is John Krill left side and across the Aero blue line. Arneal is back to play. He's taken to the boards by Krill. Donnelly escorts it up the wall for Graham Townsend. He will romp the center ice. The pass to the left side. Mark Freer. It goes into the Minnesota zone. 7:34 to go in the second period. Aeros with a 3-0 lead. Miles O'Connor hooked it into the Moose zone, and Jimmy Paek goes to play. Paek's pass to the right side. And it is Chris Imes to lob it ahead. DiPietro nearly intercepted that. Neville comes out of the net to play. The pass along the boards from Mike Boyce. Couldn't clear it. Taken away. Here come the Moose. Pass in front. Winding, shooting. Gamble, stick saving. Puck is loose in front. They pick away at it. It's great by Mike Maurice, and he'll turn it away. Holy smokes. Here's the try by Brill. High and wide. Get out of that one, baby. Right side. It came out in front to the line for Miller. Miller worked it down along for Sandy Smith. Taken off the boards by Laniel. The Aeros are just flying out there tonight. Puck in the corner. Here's Maurice trying to get it out of there. We've got a penalty to the Houston Aeros. We'll sort it out when we return. 6:47 to go. Second period. It's the Aeros 3, the Moose no score. Back right after this.
Welcome back to the Summit. 3-0 Aeros lead at 6:47 remaining in the second period as Moran comes down and he lets a good shot go. The puck gets up in the air and Krupke gets back and makes a bit of a skate save himself as he gets wrapped around the post, and eventually the puck's cleared out of the zone by Miles O'Connor. But good action in front as the Aeros gave the puck away a couple times and the Minnesota Moose almost capitalized on it. They're on the power play right now as Krupke goes to the box, and they will try it tonight. 0 for 2 with 2 shots.
On the Moose, bring the puck in. Right side, Moran flipped it out in front, but Mark Lamb was there. He'll clear it out at center. And the Moose are back to play. 6:25 to go in the second. 3-0 Houston. 1:35 left to Krupke. It's Dave Christian. Gives the pass to Stefan Moran. He'll turn the puck over to the right side. Jensen lobbed it into the Aero zone. Christian chasing after it. He's got Corvo cutting to the net. Instead, lobs it behind the boards for Ivan Corvo. Slides it back down to the corner for Dave Christian. Moran for Corvo. Stuffed it right in there, but couldn't get the shot on goal. And it's picked up by Gord Donnelly and shoveled to the line. Not out. Paek held it in. Here's Jimmy Paek moving down left side. Worked it in for Moran, trying to center it. It came to the line to try Campbell. I think might have gotten a piece of that one. And the Aeros are up ice. Conroy, the pass for Mark Lamb. In across the line. Trying to move it on Jensen. Short-handed. Centering pass knocked away. Lamb turns in the near circle. Lamb, watched by Moran, takes a whack from Stefan Moran, and then Jensen comes in there to pin him along the boards. They battle for the loose puck. 45 seconds left in Krupke's penalty. And there's Freer. He kicked it down low, and Jim Paek is there. Paek at it, center ice. He'll shoot it into the Aero end. Out of net Gamble, but he'll let Laniel play it. He's chased down by Govidaris, and the puck will go the length of the ice. Dave Gagnon forced to play it as Arneal, the only one in there for Houston, and the pass comes to Sandy Smith. And the former Detroit Viper moves it up ice. Smith took away by Jakes. Goes to the far corner. Govidaris watched by Freer. Howard plays down to 10 seconds. Hodge waiting, sends it back to the line for Roberts. Here's a pass over the drive, stopped by Campbell, and the rebound went to the far side. And the penalty to Gord Krupke is history. The drive, and that was knocked away. Puck came to the near boards for Arneal, shoveled it to the line, not out. Roberts built it by Krupke. Just drilled him down to the ice, and Godinyak will shovel it back in. Oh, Gord Krupke came out after the penalty, and he laid the boom to the Minnesota Moose defense. And the puck is shot out at center, just missing Arneal. They'll say no icing. Roberts back to play it. Roberts moves it up ice from within his own end. 4:21 to go. It's Dave Christian who gathers it in right side. Christian trying to clear, and the Aeros are there. Hurlbut slides one into the Minnesota zone. First one back is Godinyak. He's turned into the boards by Kelly Hurd, but here come the Moose. And across the line, Dave Christian had it poke checked by Maurice. Sandy Smith into the corner. Maurice shoveled that away, and DiPietro's off to the races with Hurd. Here's Paul DiPietro romping at center ice with Kelly Hurd. DiPietro in across the line. Wide shoots. Stop Gagnon. Rebound. Hurd shoots. Gagnon. Stop that, and he will hold on. Timeout on the ice. 3:49 to go in the second period. It's the Aeros 3. The Moose. No score. Back after this.
Welcome back to the Summit. The Aeros lead at 3-0, and Gord Krupke gets out of the box and lowers the boom on Roberts, who's at the point, and it squirts the puck loose. Talk about making a hit that sets up a play, and then down the wing is DiPietro. He can't find Kelly Hurd, so he decides to shoot it himself. The rebound will come out eventually to Kelly Hurd. He'll get a shot. Gagnon made that save as well. Good decision making by the Aeros.
Puck is shot into the Aero end. Gamble stopped it behind the net. Now does Krupke. Pushed it ahead for Hurd, and DiPietro will try it again. Paul DiPietro dumped the puck into the Minnesota zone. Turgeon after it. In Schneider battle, and Andy Schneider will come away with it. And the puck came to the near side for Jim Paek. 3:20 to go in the second. Aeros with a 3-0 lead. At center ice, Sean Williams turned the puck ahead to Andy Schneider. And the rink-wide pass comes to Paek. Got it in across the line. Here's the pass. Paek's right in. Centered. Oh, did Gamble get a piece of that or what? Wow, what a stop there. And the puck goes behind the net. It came out in front, and the Aeros clear it. It is Kelly Hurd right side. Hits the line. Finding shooting. That at the top of the net. Oh, good golly, Miss Smalley. and the puck is turned around, and the Moose will clear it. It'll go down into the Aeros zone. Back to play it, it's O'Connor, and it is icing. And oh boy, what a turn of events there. That's a whole new turn to roofing it. That was on the outside. There was somebody knocking at the door, but it was the puck on top as Gagnon faced a big drive from Kelly Hurd. It's 3-0 Houston.
Right before that, Gamble makes, even if Gamble didn't get a piece of this, he forces Paek to pass it by challenging him. And then he cuts across, and I think he did get a piece of that. He makes an unbelievable save, and you know what? A save at one end often turns into a chance at the other end as Kelly Hurd walks over the line and just blasts one. And watch the rebound if you're enjoying the game on Prime Sports. Bounces right on top of the net. I tell you what, it's a game of inches. It comes down a little sooner, and it's 4-0.
I'm not so sure that didn't hit the crossbar coming down.
Well, hit a little bit of both. A little trampoline action on top of that net.
Tell you what, like Vivaldi on the violin, a little string music there, baby. And the puck is picked up by the Moose. Turn ahead. It is Moran who got it into the Aero zone. Out of the net, Gamble gives to Gordon Donnelly. And the Aeros will push it away. Conroy couldn't clear. Moose have it. Chris Jensen turning slot. Give it to Corvo. Pulls up to the right side. The shot blocked, and the Aeros clear it. No. Moran right side. Setting it up. Here's Stefan Moran. Centered one. Pushed away. Gord Roberts moving right side. Here's Roberts. Winding. Faking the shot. Dropped it for Moran. Maurice tipped it away, and it's back out at center ice. 2:05 to go, and the Aeros lead it 3-0. Here's Mike Maurice at center ice for Houston. Gives the puck over the left side. Lamb. Lamb looks in front, and Maurice trying to get it in there. He's hemmed in along the boards. Conroy centered the shot. Oh, Gagnon makes a marvelous save there on Lamb. Back to the line. It is turned to behind the net for Lamb again, but it was tipped away by Roberts, and Govidaris will clear. Here comes Stefan Moran. The pass for Jensen, knocked away by Maurice. Gdyniuk will try it again as he sweeps it into the Aero zone. 1:30 to go in the period, and a 3-0 hockey game. Lead pass just missing Arneal. Chris Miller back in his own zone. And it's lobbed ahead. The Aeros have it. Jake's trying to feather one ahead. And here comes Scott Arneal with 2 goals and an assist tonight. Freer with a goal and 2 helpers tonight. It is picked up by Minnesota. Chris Miller for Govidaris, and he got it into the Aero zone. Gamble will play it. Here is Jakes. Fires one the length of the ice. That'll go down to Gagnon. And he will cover and then play to Jim Paek. 1 minute to go in the second period. Aeros on top. 3-0. Freer trying to knock the puck away from Gagnon. Jim Paek takes it. Clear. Jakes was dumped by Govidaris. Now Freer right side. Cuts it in. Here's the chance. Arneal centered. The puck right in. They score! Grail Townsend. And Arneal may have just gotten his 4th point of the night. It's 4-0 Houston.
What a great play in front as Townsend chips in an open net goal for its 17th of the season. Townsend in front of that net, hard to move. He's a big man, and he chips the puck as it gets loose into the open side, but not before some great moves by Arneal. And Arneal finally will get a piece of it and chip it across the front of the net. The clearing pass was tried to be made there by Chris Miller, but Townsend out-muscles him in front of the net as they just keep battling until the puck is loose, and Townsend chips it in, his 17th of the year. And what a great playing. 42 seconds left in this period. The Aeros lead it 4-0.
Krupke off the draws. The Aeros up at 4-0. It is Lamb into the corner, knocked away. Arneal's got his 4th point of the night, and Freer's got his 4th point of the night. So it's Freer and Arneal. We were wondering when they were going to erupt. They have been playing terrific as of late, and tonight they are just dominating. It is a puck controlled by Minnesota. Williams right in. Gamble stopped that. Aeros can't clear. Roberts the drive. Gamble stopped that as well. And it's picked up by Lamb. His pass to Al Conroy. Chased it down right side. Drills it in toward Maurice, or make it Lamb who backs it. And that is the buzzer. And that is the second period. And a standing ovation. Troy Gamble standing on his aorta tonight, and this crowd are very appreciative of that as the Aeros take a 4-0 lead into the second intermission. When we return, more from the Summit. Call me a doctor. It's a heart-stopping game on Valentine's Day. Back after this.
Anything that's out there.
Back in the Summit, a 4-0 Aero lead. And the story of the hockey game, Freer with a goal and 3 assists, Arneal with 2 goals and 2 assists, and Troy Gamble. Yeah, enough said, folks. Troy Gamble in his 5th straight start, again doing the job, and the Aeros enjoying a 4-0 lead. Tonight's topic, as we take time out for good health, is safety equipment. And for those kids of you that are watching or listening on KPRC and are wondering about playing hockey, this is a good one on safety equipment that is needed. So we hope you enjoy this segment. And with that in mind, let us take time out for good health.
Time Out for Good Health is presented by Columbia HCA Healthcare Corporation, a new commitment in healthcare together.
Welcome to Time Out for Good Health. Just as conditioning is an essential to help avoid injuries in sporting activities, so is having the proper equipment. Let's go downstairs and talk to Jerry Mines about the equipment that the Aeros use. Ice hockey is a very high-speed game. If you've watched ice hockey before, you're aware that there are some real collisions that take place. An important factor in preventing injury to the athletes is to make sure that they have proper safety equipment and that it's worn at all times. With us tonight is Jerry, and Jerry's going to talk a bit about safety.
Thank you, Dr. Baker. Hockey players wear equipment that is rather unique, but still very similar to what the equipment of an American football player would wear. Basically, they're encased in protective equipment from their head all the way down to their toes. They wear a helmet, which protects their head. Some even have facial shields that go around the front and protect their eyes and their nose. Most of your players will wear mouthpieces to protect their dental work. They'll wear shoulder pads to protect their shoulders. They have specially designed trunks or pants that have protective equipment built into them, which encases their midsection and their anterior thigh. They wear shin guards, which protects from any kind of blows from sticks or pucks against their anterior shin. And they also wear specially designed skates with protective padding and equipment in special spots.
Be sure to remember that if you're going to participate in a sporting activity, to wear the appropriate safety equipment to reduce your chances of injury. Please join us for our next session of Time Out for Good Health.
Time Out for Good Health was presented by Columbia HCA Healthcare Corporation, a new commitment in healthcare together.
Back at the Summit, a 4-0 Aero lead. Adam Gordon along with Mike Greenlay, and I don't know, you just sit back and you look at the way the Aeros played, and you just sit back and you go, wow. I mean, this is what we've been waiting for all year, and the Aeros look like they could be on their way to their 3rd win in a row if they play the 3rd period like they've been playing.
Well, it certainly is a good thing to sit here and admire it, because for such a long time you were frustrated even watching the Aeros, and now they come out and they seem to do everything right. They take care of the defensive zone, and even when they don't, the goaltender makes a great save, and of course they're scoring now so much and so frequently. It's great to see, and I guess overall all around play has improved, and I think it's a good game to watch all of a sudden.
Yeah, and Paul DiPietro's impact has already been felt. He hasn't had a big offensive night as far as points wise. He does have an assist in the hockey game, setting up a goal, but he has played terrific. And we talk about Paul DiPietro setting up goals, and we go right to the highlights. He sets up the first goal in the 2nd period. It would be Scott Arneal's 2nd of the night.
Oh, certainly, and the puck comes down. He just backdoors it to Freer, and the thing here that makes it such a nice goal is Freer shows patience. He waits, then he feeds Arneal on the back door. First of all, Lamb gets it down, and then he shows patience, and away it goes.
We wanted to show you the fact that Arneal just camping out in front, and as he taps it in for his 2nd goal of the night, that would give the Aeros a 3-0 lead. It was a power play goal, but this hockey game for the Aeros had more hits than a blackjack table in Vegas, and here was one for Hurlbut.
And certainly Hurlbut plays this perfectly. The puck goes by him, he stays with the man and puts Schneider down on his back, and I tell you what, we've seen a lot of big hits tonight, and that was just one of them.
But whenever you hit, it always seems to set up offensive chances.
Well, it certainly does, and again, it's Freer. Freer feeds it up to the middle, and Arneal makes a great move in here, stays with the puck, and finally battles, 2nd effort, and Townsend gets the benefit of hard work by Freer and Arneal. Freer feeds it to Arneal, and he just stays with the puck. He doesn't lose concentration. Townsend gets his 17th of the year. coming from Arneal and Freer. Freer and Arneal with 4 points each tonight so far.
Greener, I realize, it was tough for you. You weren't obviously with the Aeros organization last year to see Freer and Arneal play together, but I think you just know from the limited time you saw them last year.
I saw them play together, except it was against me. And yes, I can feel the benefit. I did feel the kind of pressure they can put on a goaltender, and right now they're putting that on Gagnon.
All right, and the better they play, that's just going to free up more chances for the other guys as well. It is 4-0. The Minnesota Moose trail it in this one. Back after this. Minnesota Moose yet to score in this hockey game. The Aeros leading by a score of 4-0. And let's take a look at the second period stats brought to you by our local Texas Jeep and Eagle dealers. 26-24. The Moose are out shooting the Aeros, believe it or not. The Moose 0 for 3 on the power play with 4 shots. The Aeros 1 of 5 on the power play with 5 drives. And the Aeros again just dominating the faceoffs 25-15. 4 penalties for 8 minutes for Houston, 7 penalties for 14 minutes for the Minnesota Moose. And let's take a look at our second period game summary. And it's brought to you by Columbia Healthcare Systems. And you're going to notice a lot of similar names as we go through this. First period, 46 seconds. Freer on a breakaway from Arneal, 1-0 Houston. Scott Arneal from Donnelly and Freer, 2-0 Houston. You get the picture? Well, let's re-emphasize it some more. Scott Arneal on the power play of the second period from Freer and DiPietro. And then with 43 seconds to go in the second period, Townsend from Arneal and Freer. And the Aeros lead it by a score of 4-0. When we return, third period action. Final 20 minutes. If the Aeros can hold on, they will win their third in a row. And we'll have that for you right after this. Aeros lead it by a score of 4-0 as the team filtering back out on the ice for the start of period number 3. Fans, in an effort to educate Houston on the fastest growing sport in America, the Houston Aeros will be hosting 2 weeks of hockey camps this summer. Camps will run for 1 week each. First, July 15th through the 19th at the Willowbrook Aerodrome, and then the 22nd of July through the 26th at the Aerodrome in Sugar Land. Goalies Rob Dobson, right winger Graham Townsend will be there. Plus, there'll be special guest appearances throughout the camp. For more information, call the Houston Aeros office at 621-2842. That's 621-2842. And who knows, I might even surface in there for both weeks. I had a really good time the 2 weeks I helped instruct with Dobson, Gamble, and Curtis Hunt was there, along with Graham Townsend. It was a lot of fun. I look forward to doing that. Interesting comment that Dave Tippett made as far as the return of Paul DiPietro to the lineup. And it makes a lot of sense, Greener, when you think about it. Even if Paul DiPietro doesn't light it up right away, all the other teams have to respect DiPietro. So they're going to work, they're going to have to put their checking line against the DiPietro line. And perhaps that's why you see guys like Freer and Arneal playing well tonight. Now, what happens is maybe in the next game, Peoria says, well, we better get our checking line against Freer and Arneal, and DiPietro just might go to town Friday night.
Well, that's all about having a team that's really deep, or a lineup that they say that's really deep, is you can go to any line and still be successful. And that's why DiPietro really helps solidify this lineup, because he brings that extra versatility into the lineup.
Folks, I realize this early, it may not be the game of the year, but it's close. Saturday night, mark this down. The Aeros and the Atlanta Knights go at it. This is the team the Aeros are trying to catch. The game will be seen on Prime Sports, also on 950 KPRC. It's Saturday at 7 o'clock, but you know what, folks? Get your tickets. There's some great seats available, but they are going fast. The Aeros and the Atlanta, this is going to be a battle. The Knights have played some terrific hockey since getting Peter White. He is the American Hockey League scoring champ from last year. Oh, by the way, some guy named Drulia and Ruff, do you think they might help? J.C. Bergeron? It is going to be a battle. I cannot wait for that game. Greener, be sure to get your tickets.
Okay.
All right, we're underway with the third period. And the Aeros clear it out at center. Godinyak fires it ahead, and there's a new goaltender in for the Minnesota Moose as a shot came into Troy Gamble, but wide of the net. Paris Duffus checks in for the Minnesota Moose. Puck is in the Minnesota zone. It is Ken Hodge, fires one out at center, but Krupke chased it down. Conroy tipped it ahead, but Roberts trying to muscle it up the boards, and it sails back to the Aero blue line and into their own end. Here's a pass that goes the length of the ice. No icing. Roberts goes back. Paris Duffus, who played last year with the Peoria Rivermen, but he's played this whole entire season with the Minnesota Moose. Puck is picked up by Freer, right side. A pass for Scott Arniel. Aeros bring it across with a 4-0 lead. Arniel moving down, trying to center one. And Godinuk tipped it away. Here's a centering pass, and Duffus chipped it away. Jim Paek slides one out at center. That's knocked away by O'Connor. And a headman pass just out of the reach of Graham Townsend. Duffus comes out, flings it up over the glass. No, it stayed in. I thought that was going out of play. Freer's got it down low, but Jim Paek slides it away. And here come the Moose out at center. 4-on-3. Chris Imes drills it into the Aeros zone. Gamble knocked it down and swings it far side for Miles O'Connor. Here come the Aeros right to left. O'Connor, the pass for Arniel. He'll move it through the neutral zone and slide it into Minnesota territory. Duffus slows behind the net with a minute and a half gone in the third. Aeros lead it 4-0. Jim Paek scampers up at center. Pass for Chris Imes. Now Jensen brings it across the line. Jensen trying to get through the check of Turgeon. He centered one, though, shot by Moran. Never got through to Gamble. Loose puck in front. The shot. Gamble stopped that. They bang away at it. The puck goes in, but after the whistle, though. And play is whistled down, but a penalty coming up to the Houston Aeros. And the Moose trying to work on a 4-0 deficit.
Right now, the Minnesota Moose are 0 for 3 on their power play. Actually, they're 0 for everything as they're losing 4-0, but Jakes will go to the box for the tripping call in front of the net. And as they work away at it, it looks like he trips up Moran, who would have had a chance there, but I'm not sure why the whistle went there. I think it might have been on that when they poked the puck loose right after Jakes tripped him, but it could have easily not been called, and it could have been a 4-1 score. But as the puck was poked away, Gamble makes a save, and the rebound comes out, and the puck's chipped in the net, but that's after the whistle. Steve Jakes will go to the box.
Paris Duffus, we talk about checking in at 5-10-1 mark. 3.28 goals against average, 89.9 on the save percentage. So his save percentage is excellent.
He had, that usually means the goaltender's stopping the puck, but he's getting so many shots that you just can't handle the barrage. And sometimes even a goaltender with better stats doesn't seem to find the action if he doesn't have the numbers as far as win-loss.
You wonder about the Minnesota Moose, and yes, it was announced in the earlier year about them moving to Winnipeg. That is a done deal. They will play in Winnipeg next year.
They go from cold to colder.
Oh, cold and colder. Absolutely, Green. It is biting cold in Winnipeg. I'm kind of looking forward to getting up. Makes it truly an international hockey league now. Krupke on the penalty kill, fires the puck into the Minnesota zone. Duffus slows it. Duffus escorts it to the near side. Here come the Minnesota Moose. Alexander Godinuk gives the pass to Jensen, fires it into the Aeros zone. Far side, Schneider takes his man to the boards. Aeros trying to clear, cannot do it. Stéphane Morin to Godinuk. Ryan shoots Gamble. No, he didn't stop it. Score! Alexander Godinuk. I'm not so sure Gamble didn't get a piece of that. And it'll be a power play goal for Minnesota. They're on the board. It's 4-1.
I think what allowed Godinuk to get that puck by Gamble was Jensen was skating right in front of Gamble right when the puck came to him, and I don't think he picked it up as he probably lost it in his crosshairs as it came in. And there, it was deflected by Jensen right upstairs. What an excellent goal that was. I thought it might have just been a screen, but it was more than that as Godinuk one-times it, and Jensen gets the tip of his stick and deflects it upstairs and in the net before anyone could see it. And I don't know what they'll call on this goal, but Jensen did get the piece of it just as it went in the net.
Yeah, it should be Jensen.
An excellent goal, and nothing Gamble could do on something like that.
So they'll face it off out at center, and Ken Hodge wins the draw. It is controlled by the Moose. Chris Miller in his own zone. Miller sends it over to Mark LaForge as Jensen does get the goal. Puck is out at center. And here come the Moose, and across the line. It's dropped back. DiPietro, fired one back. O'Connor couldn't clear. Here's the shot. Govidaris blocked the rebound. I think Gamble got a piece of that one. Andy Smith along the left side. Dropped it for Govidaris. This Govidaris got it to Sandy Smith. Pulls away from the check of DiPietro. Puck resting, but DiPietro jumps on it. Cleared it out at center for Maurice. Mike Maurice through the neutral zone. Maurice gives a nice pass. Conroy cutting right in on goal. Backhander score! It's 5-1 Houston.
Well, the Aeros answer right back, and it's Al Conroy answering the call. His 16th goal of
the season as he shows some speed around the corner and makes a nifty little backhand move to beat Duffus. Duffus goes down a little bit early on this one as Conroy breaks around and just waits and waits, and then when Duffus opens up his 5-hole, Conroy deposits the puck there. It's a 5-1 game.
So give Maurice a nice assist to Al Conroy, and the Aeros come right back after giving up a power play goal. Interesting story. Conroy was upset because I think he thought Jensen was his man who scored the power play goal. He slammed his stick, so talk about a guy that comes back for you right off the hop. Al Conroy does it there. Here's a puck that came out in front, and Duffus had to clear it for the Moose. Not out of the zone, though. Loose puck, Mark Lamb in a battle with Jim Paek. In there's Kelly Hurd trying to dig it out. It is Hurd in the battle, trying to get it out of the scrum with 3.5 gone by in the third. 5-1, the Moose. It's dug out by Hurd, centered. Here's Turgeon. Duffus stopped it. And it is cleared by the Moose out at center. It is Sean Williams across the line. He centered one, and that puck is tapped away. Oh, a big collision, and I think Schneider is shaken up. We'll sort it out when we return. Schneider is down, hopefully not seriously injured. It is 5-1 Houston. Back after this, but first this word from Southwest Airlines.
Back at the Summit, the Aeros lead it 5-1 with 16-16 remaining in the third, and Schneider goes sliding in the boards after a good defensive play here by two players, Jakes and Turgeon, and it looks like Schneider just squirming after he gets hit really hard. Actually, he wasn't really hit, it just his speed as his feet come out and he gets turned around, and I think he's expecting this one, and it could be his tailbone or it could be just his wind as he hits those boards really hard, and those boards are really solid around the lower half because they're anchored down low there, obviously, and you get hit up high on the glass. A lot of times you'll see a player bounce in, then bounce back out as the glass gives way, but there's no giving way down low on the boards because it's so solid.
For the kids that were watching there on Prime Sports, what a great example of how you know to keep your head up. What a great example. Andy Schneider knew he was going into the boards, and he had, the nice thing is he had more time to react than say a Mike Hurlbut did.
Well, he also went in, he was also sliding in on his, I think what happened with Hurlbut is Hurlbut went in head first and got up and lifted his head up, but Schneider was already sitting down and slid in backwards, and you know, it hurts no matter which way you get hit into the boards, but I guess the better way you learn how to brace yourself, the better chance you have of walking away from it.
Anytime you see this, you know, I got to tell you how the hockey community's come together with that Boston University kid, Travis Roy, and I don't know if anybody saw it. I unfortunately saw it. Yeah, and I did too. And oh, it's just an unfortunate situation. The Aeros, in fact, I think sent something to the Roy family, and we got a card from the Roy family thanking him. They put his jersey up every night there at Boston University for a game. Puck is controlled by the Aeros and shot back into the Minnesota zone. 4 minutes gone by in the third in a 5-1 hockey game. Speaking of college hockey, here's Chris Imes, who won the championship with the Maine Black Bears last season. And it's Miles O'Connor, shot the puck out at center. Imes got it again. Imes down the right side, trying to get it through the check of Maurice. It's dug out by Arneal and spanked out at center. I said Maurice, that was O'Connor that's out there. Now Maurice can jump out there. Here's the puck shot in by Jensen. It goes into the Aeros zone. DiPietro trying to chase it down with John Brill of the Moose. Puck is jammed away. They battle in the corner some more. Moran with that long stick trying to move it out of there. And the Aeros trying to push it up the boards. Here is Townsend out at center. Graham Townsend, the pass for DiPietro, trying to punch a pass for Maurice. That's turned around, and the Moose have it, trailing 5-1. Chris Govidaris at center, trying to bring it across the line. That's knocked away by Maurice, and then Steve Jakes just drilling Govidaris. Oh, and they're going to call Jakes for a penalty there, I think. Here's Kenny Hodge on the delayed penalty. Pass knocked down by Conroy, and the Aeros are going to be shorthanded as Jakes is going to get nailed, I think, for interference.
Well, Govidaris and Jakes have been going at it all game. A couple situations earlier on in the game involved those two, and Govidaris went after him, and Jakes retaliated back and will get the penalty. And so that's where retaliation sometimes comes into play, and where discipline comes into play. He'll get an interference call for 2 minutes, and the Aeros will find themselves killing another power play. The last power play Minnesota scored on, but the Aeros answered right back, even strength. But Jakes will find himself in the box, and the Aeros will have to kill this one off.
Face-off will be in the top of the right circle, and the Moose will get another power play. And this will be power play number 5. Moose 1 of 4 on the man advantage. They just scored on their last power play. Controlled by the Moose down the right side. Here's Godinuk right side. Get it back, and Hurlbut trying to clear. Cannot. Here's Chris Aeros right side. Worked it down. Hodge centered one, but Godinuk couldn't get a shot away. He had Krupke in front of him. Now Alexander Godinuk shakes by the check at Conroy. Pulled up in the slot, and that puck deflected way back and out of play. And Greener, let's take a look again at our Oshman's game plan and see how the Aeros fare tonight.
Well, the players that need to play well are playing well. Gamble's having a good game. Freer, Arneal are having great games. And the addition of Turgeon and DiPietro certainly hasn't hurt the team. It's helped them quite a bit. Don't underestimate the Moose. They haven't. They've played a good, solid game. They haven't given up too many glorious opportunities, but the ones they have, Gamble's come up big on. And stay out of the sin bin. Well, the Aeros have done a pretty good job in that department. Right now, the Minnesota Moose are 1 for 5 on the power play. And this, if the Aeros kill it off, will be 1 for 6.
Here's a drive by Roberts, right on Gamble. Stop that. Ooh, and it got behind him. Score! But they're going to wave it off. And that might be a quick whistle. I think the Aeros are going to catch a break here.
Well, I think what happened is Smith got his stick in there and tried to poke the puck loose. And that's why the referee called it no goal, or he blew the whistle, because Gamble had stopped it, then turned around, and Smith got in there. Smith, that's about the second or third time he's had his stick in there late, trying to poke the puck loose. It's a good hard shot from the point. Gamble makes a save, and then he'll cover it up. But then, after Gamble's covered it up, there you go, Smith with the stick jamming away at it. And I don't know, some referees will call it, some won't, but he's saying, why not? Well, it's because Gamble had his glove on it, and the referee had blown the whistle.
Conrad Hatch, our referee tonight, hasn't had to work too much and called a pretty decent hockey game for the most part. Puck is controlled by the Moose. It's shot in to the Aero zone. That went off the entrails of Govideras and then up and out of play. 1:22 left at Jakes, 14-18 to go, 5-1 Houston, and Troy Gamble. He continues to be electrifying in the pipe.
Well, certainly. I mean, he, for the longest while, hadn't played and hadn't had a chance because, of course, Grant Shervin came in and was playing well, and Shervin got injured. Dobson and Gamble both started to play a little more, and then Gamble went on a heck of a streak last week, and why not? Dave Tippett's going to stay with him, and he should. You got to stay with a hot goalie. He's some guy that's going to come out and play those kind of games for you, and right now he's doing it for the Aeros. You keep playing him.
Puck is in the Minnesota zone. Paris works one ahead. Aeros nearly tipped it away. Stefan Morin, the pass ahead for Chris Jensen, and across the line, dropped it. Sean Williams had a poke check by DiPietro. 1:04 left on the power play. It is controlled by Jensen. Looped it down, Sean Williams. Here's a chance for the Moose. Godinuk, top of the slot. Roberts slides it down. Morin getting set. He trying to move it along the wall, and the Aeros trying to get it out of there. Cannot. Morin back to the line. Godinuk. Left side pass, Roberts back to Godinuk. He winds, he shoots, tipped away. Campbell, I think, got in front of a Sean Williams deflection. Morin, base of the right circle for the Moose. Give it to Godinuk. Toss the puck to Roberts. Looks for the shot, gives to Godinuk. The wrist shot blocked, loose in the slot. Aeros can't get it. Power play down to 27 seconds. Godinuk right side lobbed it down, but there was O'Connor, shoveled it ahead to the line. It's out at center ice. DiPietro cleared it. Boy, the Aero penalty killers were logging some ice there. And sucking some wind, too. They'll take that line change. Jensen, the pass from Morin. Pushed it into the Aero zone. Back to play it, it's Krupke. In behind his net, Krupke cleared, not out, kicked away by Jensen, but the power play is down to 5 seconds, and the Aeros moving up ice. Conroy with a chance on the breakaway. Here's Conroy in alone. Conroy deep, shoots. Oh, and I think Duffus may have gotten a piece, as well as Roberts getting back to knock it away. Conroy looking for his second of the night. Puck is picked up by the Moose, and it is shoveled over for Chris Imes. Imes tipped over Morin, and the puck into the Aero zone, but Krupke takes over. 12.5 to go, and the Aeros on top by 4. Slivchenko for Houston. Get across the line. Slivchenko cutting right in. The puck is knocked away, and Paek will clear it. Andy Schneider. Pass knocked through Imes into Aero territory. Laniel chased it down. He will be there, and he will touch, and icing is the call. Aeros 5, the Minnesota Moose 1. More IHL hockey from the Summit after this. Aeros lead at 5-1. And fans, our boys are busy out in the community. And you can come meet Aeros goalie Grant Shervin at the Oshman Superstore in Baybrook. There he is, Grant Shervin, this Sunday, February 18th at 1 p.m. Grant will be on hand to sign autographs, meet the fans. Sunday, February 18th at Oshman's at Baybrook. And we look forward to having you out there. Puck is in the Minnesota zone, and the puck came to the near side, and it's rolled back to the near boards, and Mark Laniel is there. Laniel fired it ahead for Lamb. He's watched by Jim Paek. Puck is loose at center ice with 12 minutes to go. Now it is Jakes. Jakes hurting it along the near side for Turgeon, and he'll lob it out at center. Kelly Hurd left side for Lamb. Cutting in center. Hurd the shot. Just tipped that wide of the net. Now Jakes behind the net for Lamb. Trying to get through Jimmy Paek. Here's Turgeon. Face of the right circle. Sylvain Turgeon. He'll jam it near side. In there is Dave Christian. Puck came in front, but there was Paris Duffus to knock it away. Duffus starting this third period in goal in place of Dave Gagnon. It is Christian. Threw it off skates, and Lamb's caught the Moose in a line change. Here comes Lamb across the line. Dropped it back. Jakes trying to handle the puck. It's knocked away, and out at center it's Chris Jensen. Jakes runs the puck up to Turgeon. Here come the Aeros in transition. Lamb right in front, knocked away by Godinyak. It goes to the far corner. Turgeon Hodge battle in there. Knocked away by Ken Hodge. And the Moose jump on it. Here they come. Sandy Smith scampering up ice. And here they come up ice. Smith in across the line. Knocked away, and Townsend trying to advance it with 10:56 to go. Miles O'Connor fires one near side. And it'll go the length of the ice. Icing is indicated as Godinyak goes back in play. It's whistled down.
10:44 to go, and the Aeros lead at 5-1.
Well, Adam, this is last week was a very important week. Last week was a very important week for the Aeros, and they seemed to pass the test. They went 3-1, and this week is as important, if not more important. And Dave Tippett and the Aeros will have to beat teams that they know they can beat. They know they can beat the Minnesota Moose, and they are doing so rather well right now, 5-1. Secondly, they have to beat Peoria this Friday. They beat them 4-1. And then Atlanta, a team that they have to beat and that they can beat, they'll also have to beat. So a very important week for the Aeros right now.
Puck is back at the Minnesota blue line. They'll turn it up ice and into the Aeros zone. O'Connor goes back to play. And that'll be another icing call. 10.5 to go in this third period. 5-1 the Aeros. And want to remind everybody, Greener, that following the broadcast tonight, you can join Greener and I on KPRC 9:50 a.m. for the Houston Aeros postgame highlight show. We will be taking your calls tonight. So get your phones ready. I think, you know, we're going to have the phone calls keep getting more and more as this postgame show goes on. But as the team continues to play well, I think we're going to be chock full of calls tonight.
And I'm sure a few of them will involve that man on your right, Paul DiPietro,
sure,
who's back with the Aeros, and a great addition that is. 777-5772 is the number. Don't be afraid to pick up the phone and call us.
We don't bite usually. Here's O'Connor with a shot, and Duffus the glove save. He'll hold on.
Not over the phone, at least.
No. Face off. He'll be back to the right side of Paris Duffus. It's good to have some home cooking after that long road trip. The Aeros are home for 2 more after this one. As you mentioned, Peoria Friday, and then, oh boy, the Atlanta Knights on Saturday. I'm telling you, that is going to be the great game. How you doing? Hey, you know, I just think, you know, you look at the Atlanta Knights coming in, and this is really the big game when you're trying to chase a Central Division opponent like that.
Oh, certainly it's going to be a heck of a game. It's and those games have lent themselves to be a little rough too, so it'll have a little bit of everything, I think.
Paris Duffus bobbling the puck a little bit there, but he holds on to it.
Well, it looks like Godinyak got the first slap shot in the back of the leg. No padding on the back part of the leg there. Is you're not usually turned backwards to play, and he takes it, I think, in the calf. And, you know, the rebound comes out. You know what, Adam? I just wanted to wish you a very happy birthday.
You already said that.
Yeah, but this one I want to officially do right on camera. Adam, happy birthday from everybody out there. I know you kept it a big secret, but little birdie told me. And
thank you.
Happy birthday, big fella.
Thank you. I won't. And don't even ask. Don't even ask.
I know you're just a tad bit older than me, and I'm not that old, so you're all right.
Old enough to be your father.
Yeah. You must be using Grecian formula then.
Oh, they can't all be gems, though, right? Remember that. Puck is controlled by the Minnesota Moose. And a 5-1 lead for the Aeros. Jensen turned it right side. And here is Jensen trying to lob it down along the boards. Moran pushed it out in front for John Brill. Puck came out in front, and play is whistled down as Gamble stops it with 10 minutes remaining.
So this game is slowed down just a touch as Minnesota, we've heard, hasn't really come on strong once they trail in a game, and the Aeros are content right now to just keep playing good, solid defensive hockey. Gamble making a stick save there and covering up and freezing the puck as much as possible.
Well, you know, I appreciate everything you said about the birthday, but we do have a serious announcement here. Jim Summers, we call him Tony. I love it. He's been our graphics guy all year, and he is getting married tonight right after the game.
Wow. Congratulations.
Congratulations. I thought I'd get to be his best man. Never asked me. I wonder, you know, like when you videotape it, if he's going to get to use the Chiron Infinite for his video picture back at home. Here's mom and dad. He'll have stats and everything on the wedding. Here is a puck shot out at center. Do they keep track of stats of how many tears were shed at the wedding? Here is Maurice across the line. Makes the save, and he'll hold on. 9.5 to go in the third, and a 5-1 Aero lead.
Paris Duff is coming into a tough situation. He's made some good saves, but for the time being, he's holding off the Aeros. Some scores around the league. If you're interested, Indianapolis has beat Kansas City 4-2. San Francisco's beating Chicago 3-1 at the end of the second. Atlanta's beating Detroit midway through the third period 3-1. No score Phoenix, LA. No score Las Vegas, Utah, and Cleveland's beating Milwaukee 2-1 in the second period.
Puck is in the Minnesota zone, and the Aeros trying to dig it out. It's jammed back to line. Look at the shot. A stick save made by Duffus. DiPietro trying to center one. It was knocked away, and the Moose bring it up ice. It is Dave Christian, neutral zone. Pushed it into the Aero end, knocked away hurlbutt. Puck comes free for Maurice. He couldn't get it out of there. Sean Williams right side trying to move it down. DiPietro cleared. No, held in. Then it was poke check, and the Aeros have a 2-on-2. DiPietro pass for Maurice. Maurice cutting down, centered one. Ooh, got through Chris Miller. I'm not sure if DiPietro expected that. It was kind of in his wheelhouse a little bit there. Now DiPietro swinging down the left side. DiPietro jammed it behind it, came out in front, and the Moose are able to move it up. It is shot out at center. It'll go all the way back into the Aero zone. Jakes goes back to play with 8.5 remaining. Steve Jakes for Mark Laniel. Pushed it ahead, but it was intercepted by Roberts. Here comes Sandy Smith. Then across the line, center to pass, but Govidaris couldn't get there. And then Govidaris gets in it with Turgeon. Here's a centering pass, knocked away. And the puck is picked up by Lamb. Mark Lamb, 2-on-1. His pass, though, intercepted and cleared by the Moose. Govidaris advanced it to Ken Hodge, poked it around Jakes. Here's Hodge, winding, shooting, Gamble saving, puck in front, and Laniel is there.
That one stung him too, Adam.
It is Hurd. Give it to Turgeon. Trying to get it around there, and Virginia will move it around behind the net. Moose, right side, Sandy Smith. Picked it for Hodge. And now it's Govidaris. Moved it up for Alexander Godinyak. Across the line, Govidaris winding, shooting, deflected, Gamble, rebound, tossed wide, loose puck, knocked away. Here is Jim Paek. Worked it down, Moran, center, Smith shoots, Gamble with the save. The puck came out in front, and the Moose trying to get it, and it's out at center ice. That one, I think Gamble just got in front of it. It was more shot into his pads than anything else. Chris Imes got it ahead for John Brill. That's knocked away, and yeah, you're right. Gamble looks a little wreathing there in a little bit of pain from that shot. Puck is at center ice. Townsend launched it into the Minnesota zone. Arneal after it. Duffus came out to fling it away. It's pushed by the Moose, but not out. Freer with 4 points tonight. A whole-hum 4-point night for him and Arneal. Puck goes to the far boards. Donnelly pinching. Looks along the wall. Donnelly trying to move it in there. It's pushed for Townsend. And Moran trying to advance the puck. O'Connor couldn't hold it. Here come the Moose. Chris Jensen with the only Moose goal. In on goal. He waits, turns, and then sends it back to the line. He waited forever. Imes shoots, and Donnelly got in front of it. Then Gamble had to cover, and he's lost his helmet. And the Aeros need to clear it, and they will. Penalty coming up. I think the Aeros are going to get nailed with a penalty here. Now the puck is out at center for Stefan Moran. It'll be a delayed penalty to the Aeros. Finally pushed away by Hurlbutt. And while they sort this out, we take a timeout. 6:29 to go in the third period. It's the Aeros 5, the Moose 1. Back after this.
5-1 Aeros lead it in the third period as Hodge gets a good chance down the wing. Hodge possesses a pretty hard shot himself, and he gets this one up high on the collarbone of Gamble, and Gamble jumps back a little bit on that one as it looked like it stung him a little bit. The shot comes up high and hits him up on the shoulder, and goaltenders do have padding up there, but ooh, that stings, because I know what that feels like. He'll have a tattoo, as we say, a souvenir for about a week. And Gamble after that made some pretty good saves to follow up, and he's been playing excellent.
With that being on his stick side, does that affect him at all? Maybe being stiff in the morning?
It'll hurt more on the glove side because you have to use your glove hand a little more, but your right hand, or in his case his right hand, is his stick hand. He has to move it back and forth, so he'll be all right. A little bit of ice will fix that up.
Here's Chris Govidaris, sends the puck back to the line. Dave Christian tipped it over for Godinuk. The shot tipped away, and Krupke will muscle it out ice, just too far out of the reach of Conroy. Duffus comes out to play it. Harris Duffus, and the puck ahead. Conroy poked it free, and here is Govidaris who knocked it down. Conroy tried to advance it. It came behind the Minnesota net. And the Moose trying to move it up ice. It's knocked away. Ken Hodge will be back in his own end with 1:15 to go on the power play. Puck shot in to the Aeros zone, and George Krupke is there. And he'll slide that the length of the ice. So Paris Duffus comes out to slow it with 5:31 remaining in the hockey game. Aeros lead it by a score of 5-1. Moose pass center ice, just missing Moran. It'll go down to Gamble. He'll take those chances. He will cover up. And he will hold on. Stefan Moran, you know, last year we talked about the fact that Moran was the IHL's leading goal scorer, and he single-handedly killed the Aeros in the 12 meetings last year. This year he hasn't been much of a factor, and really tonight not much of a factor, and it's just been tough. Moran trying to find line mates to play with this year, and I'll tell you, he's as frustrated, I think, as anybody on this Moose hockey club.
But he still leads the team, and so I guess you look at it two ways. He's right now the top point getter for the Minnesota Moose, and got to keep using him and keep helping him as far as confidence is concerned, and maybe he'll come out and produce some good games for you.
Puck is in a scrum. Moran had to go back to center, then he took a bump from Jakes. Delayed offsides to the Moose, and they never cleared, and that will be an offsides call with 5:13 to go in the third. 5-1 Houston, 44 seconds left in the penalty to Graham Townsend. Head coach Frank Serratore cannot be pleased. He was a college coach. I don't know if you played against him. He was at Denver University.
He was in a different conference, or different, I guess you call it conference. He was in a different division entirely. He was in the WCHA, the Western Collegiate Hockey Association. I was in the CCHA,
that's right,
which is the Central Collegiate Hockey Association.
He did a good job at Denver University, but gives his crack here at the IHL and trying to get this Moose hockey team running. They're in the race, though. Here's Chris Jensen right side. The shot hit the post. It's tipped away, and Jakes will slam it back out at center ice. Jim Paek down the left side, trying to get it around Jakes. Paek scampering it across the line. His shot gloved by Gamble, then dropped behind the net. The Aeros trying to clear, cannot. Right side Moran. Ooh, then it was cleared. And here is DiPietro. DiPietro in alone, shorthanded. Great right pad save made by Duffus. Now the puck is picked up by Jim Paek. Tell you what, for a guy that got in with about 5 minutes left in warm-up, DiPietro looked like he's lost a step. And don't forget, he hasn't skated for 5 days. This is his first time on skates in 5 days, I guess.
And that makes a big difference for hockey players. A lot of people look at it and say, well, what's 5 days? But I tell you what, it makes a huge difference in your timing and your reflexes.
Puck is controlled by Jakes. It's picked up by Moran, centered one. Andy Schneider teased up, ripped the shot. Whoa! Nearly cranked that off the helmet of Chris Jensen, his teammate. Now it is Jakes right side. Moves it up and out at center. And the Moose are back. And finally, play is whistled down. Timeout on the ice. 5-1 Aeros. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back to the Summit. 5-1 Aeros lead it with 3:55 remaining. DiPietro with a chance to get a goal, and he doesn't get enough up on the backhand as Paris Duffus gets his big pad on it. But DiPietro certainly showing no lack of speed as he busts into the zone and gets a good chance there. And he has had a pretty good strong game for someone who hasn't skated in a few days.
Puck is controlled by Sylvain Turgeon, shot the length of the ice. And Chris Miller will go back to play it. Forecheck by Lamb. Puck runs to the near side for Dave Christian. He's tapped into the boards by Turgeon. Puck slid down. And it is Chris Imes. Imes moves it up and out at center ice. Here come the Minnesota Moose. Andy Schneider ripped it into the Aeros zone. O'Connor trying to get it out of there. The puck was centered. Turgeon couldn't get to it. Andy Schneider back to the line. Imes, the wrist shot. Save made by Gamble. He'll hold on to it.
What's he doing? He's had it.
He's having fun, I think.
I don't want to play anymore.
Gamble having a little fun with his glove, and I think I don't know why he was doing that. I think he's obviously smiling about it, but the puck came through the crowd, and you might be insinuating the fact that the glove has a mind of its own, as it's been catching everything that's come through there, and he certainly picked that one up through a crowd and then dropped it afterwards, but a great save nevertheless through a crowd. And Dauber knows something. I wish we had a mic on him tonight, but Dauber knows something.
I've never seen Dauber not smile.
That's true.
Well,
so maybe he doesn't know it.
Rob Dobson with a smile a mile wide and always there. 3:07 to go in this one, and the Aeros firmly on top 5-1. It is Donnelly for Houston. Shot the puck toward the Minnesota zone. Maurice and across the line. It was a delayed offsides. Minnesota back at center. Govideris got it ahead for Hodge. Donnelly chased it down in the corner. He fired it up the boards, and the Moose can't hold on to it. And here come the Aeros at center ice. DiPietro hits the line, trying to find Maurice. And DiPietro turning in front, but it was knocked away. The Moose come out at center ice. Here they are at neutral. Govideris tipped one ahead. Sandy Smith cutting in. He was belted by Hal Conroy, former teammates last year in Detroit. Back at neutral ice, it is Alexander Godinyak, and he hoists it into the Aero zone, and Conroy goes back to play. 2:20 remaining, and the Aeros with a 4-goal lead. Here come the Houston Aeros. Mike Maurice across, or make it Mark Freer across the line with Scott Arneal. And it's knocked away. Sean Williams for Stefan Moran across the line. Dropped to Chris Jensen. Reining shooting, blocked by Hurlbutt, and he fires that one away. Trying to get centered in there by Miller. It came out at neutral ice, and Chris Imes goes back. Attacked by Graham Townsend. Freer brings it in, but that is offsides. And the faceoff will come back to neutral with 1:57 to go in the third. Fans, we're going back to the 60s once again. Back to the days of smiling faces, laughing, The Who, Flower Children. You remember Aerostocks, #1? Well, the tie-dyes are back. We'll have 3 periods of peace, music, yeah, right, and the Orlando Solar Bears, oh, by the way. An evening of music, prizes, and special events to the 60s will also feature Aeros wearing tie-dyed uniforms. That's Aerostock 2, March 2nd at 7 o'clock, and the band will be Major Jones and the Flyboys again. They'll be here Saturday, but Darren Jones and his boys from KPRC, the band will be flying on Aerostock, playing music from the 60s. I cannot wait for that as well. I got a lot to look forward to the remainder of this year. You wonder what I have to work for. I'll tell you. Get to see the bands and some terrific hockey. You got to get your tickets. This hockey club, what a turnaround it has made. It's made a big turnaround as of late, especially as they're going to make their 3rd in a row here tonight. Moran shoveled it into the Aero zone. Hupke chased it down. And the pass ahead, Graham Townsend, tipped away by Jim Paek. And it is Sylvain Turgeon trying to lob it ahead. And it came over to Dave Christian. Christian turning in his own zone. And his pass out to neutral ice. Andy Schneider trying to get it across the line. Blocked by Jakes. And now Lamb's got a break. Here's Lamb right side. Turns it back in front. That's knocked away. Here's Jakes trying to poke it ahead as we're down to the final minute. Kelly Hurt slides it into the Minnesota zone. Duffus slows it. And Godinyak is there. Knocked away by Lamb. Here's Lamb in behind the net. Then he's knocked off the puck. No penalty, but at this point, I don't think it's going to affect the outcome of this hockey game. John Drill in across the Aero blue line. Drill trying to move in. Drill right side with 35 seconds remaining. Laniel in his own end takes the puck away for Houston. Laniel moves it up ice, and he will shoot the puck into the Minnesota zone. We're down to 25 seconds. Miller for the Moose right side. Got it out at center. Drilled back in by Laniel. And the Moose will regroup again. 3 in a row for Houston. And they'll go to 6-3-1 in their last 10. Dave Tippett will get his 9th win as a coach. It is Sandy Smith, crashed and burned in the corner. DiPietro clangs it off the boards. It's out at center. And there's the hockey game. 3 in a row for the Houston Aeros. Troy Gamble. A terrific performance for him tonight. And Paul DiPietro, a ho-hum 2-assist performance for a guy that didn't get in till about half an hour before game time. Scott Arneal, 2 goals, 2 assists. Mark Freer, a goal and 3 assists. And the Aeros go on to the win. 5-1 the final. And we will have more from the Summit right after this. Welcome back to the Summit, everybody. The Aeros win it by a score of 5-1, and the record now 21-32-5 for the Houston Aeros. Mike Greenlay, and I'll tell you what, you just pick out this hockey game tonight. I don't know if Dave Tippett will be able to find too many things he needs to improve on tonight.
Well, there are always a few things you can look at. Dave Tippett's the kind of guy who sits down after the game with Scott Arniel, and he looks over the plays, and he talks about what they need to do better in certain situations. But you're right, there are a lot of situations that are positive. So maybe tonight's tape, when he reviews it, will be, hey, we did this right, we did that right, and let's show the players that.
You know, all year we've been picking a Texaco star of the game. Tonight's game is so tough. We just said forget it. We're going to give co-stars of the game, and it's time for our Texaco stars of the game. Mark Freer, Scott Arniel. 2-2 for Arniel of Freer with the first goal of the game, 46 seconds into it. 3 assists for Mark Freer, and there are your Texaco stars of the game. And, you know, you look at those two, and they just continue to fly, and that just bodes well for the Houston Aeros.
Well, certainly. I mean, you get two guys like that. They step up when you need them the most, and that's what makes those two guys such great players is when you really, really need them, they are there for you, and they have been there over this last little time, especially with some of the injuries. And now with all these guys getting healthy again, it's going to be unbelievable for the Houston Aeros, I think. Things look good.
You would think that of all the plays that Freer and Arniel made, that one of them would be our Gatorade play of the game. Sorry, we have some lovely parting gifts for you. Our play of the game was a nice goal from Al Conroy.
Well, certainly, and this epitomizes the game, and that's why we chose it as the play of the game. The Aeros just had gotten scored on the power play, but coming right back, our Conroy and the Aeros come right back less than a minute later and make it 5-1, and not so much the difference in the score, but the fact that, hey, when you need that goal to make a statement to say, hey, we're still in this game, they certainly came back and did it, and that's why that's a play of the game.
Your thoughts on Paul DiPietro tonight?
Oh, excellent. I mean, I think he's just going to help this lineup so much. He helps in the dressing room. The guys love him. He's great on the ice, and I think I think the guys might be right because they were talking about it a lot. He might be that guy that really solidifies this lineup and really helps for that jump into maybe that spot where Atlanta is right now.
All right, let's take a look at tonight's final stats. They're brought to you by your local Texas Dodge dealer. 37-31. The Moose outshoot the Aeros tonight. The Moose finished 1 of 6 on the power play. The Aeros finished 1 of 5 in the faceoffs department. The Aeros got caught up a little bit in the third period, but really owned the faceoff circle for the most part of the night, 35-26. Both teams had 7 penalties for 14 minutes. So the Aeros with win number 21. Troy Gamble 4-1 in his last 5 starts. I wonder who will start Friday.
Well, I think that's a pretty simple guess right there, and that is Gamble, who did beat Peoria actually last week 4-1, and will come back and probably, we're guessing of course, but it's a pretty good guess to say that he'll play on Friday against the same Peoria Rivermen, and look for him to be strong because he's been strong and he's hot and he's in that what you call the zone right now, I think.
Let's take a look at the updated standings for the Houston Aeros in the Central Division, and the Aeros continue to make strides as the Atlanta Knights. They were leading 2-1 last, we heard, but the Aeros 21-32-5. So for the time being, 5 points back of the Atlanta Knights. And I'm just looking here, yeah, in the second period, midway through, Atlanta's leading Detroit 3-1. And I'll tell you what, Atlanta comes in here on Saturday. I know we've been talking about, but you think about this. Atlanta is a hot hockey club right now, and with the record 23-26-6. We talked about Peter White, Julian Ruff, J.C. Bergeron. This is a club that they are going to have to contend with the Houston Aeros. They've got to catch them. Atlanta's got this thing in their hands if they want to make the playoffs.
Well, when you first of all you looked at it, you said, well, it's either going to have to be Atlanta that goes into the tank, or it's going to have to be the Aeros that really start playing well. Well, the Aeros have played really well, but you know what? Atlanta hasn't gone to the tank. They've played excellent as well, so it's going to have to be a little bit of both. The Aeros are going to have to just keep winning, and they're going to have to beat Atlanta when they play against them, which is 2 more times this year, including on Saturday.
Dave Tippett with his 9th win as a head coach. And the Aeros, you talked about this all year. You said the Aeros, if they want to make a run at this thing, had to put a streak together. 6-3-1 in their last 10, not bad. That's their best streak in a 10-game span this year.
Correct, and they have to keep up that streak, and that's why this week's going to be so important. Minnesota tonight, Peoria, a team that they just beat last week on Friday, and then of course Atlanta, who they just keep beating every time they play. They'll have to beat them on Saturday. This could turn out to be a pretty good week for the Houston Aeros.
If you do not have your tickets yet for Saturday, get them. I'm telling you right now, may be the game of the year. Both teams very hot, the Aeros and the Atlanta Knights. Greener, thank you.
Thank you.
And a happy Valentine's Day to you and everybody out there. So the final score tonight, 5-1. The Aeros' next game is Friday night against the Peoria Rivermen. That game is exclusively heard on KPRC 950. Our next Prime Sports telecast will be Saturday night at 7 when the Aeros take on the Atlanta Knights. Once again, tonight's final score: the Houston Aeros 5, the Minnesota Moose 1. From Mike Greenlay, this is Adam Gordon saying good night from the Summit.